get into the game as well and towards those later stages where a pick like Kai'Sa can really scale and be a menace for the enemy team.
Especially with the Manamune sort of builds that we've been seeing a lot in recent patches. And they will decide to ban away the Alistar and the Rakan. A lot of engage, a lot of good CC and utility coming out from the Rakan, of course, one paired up with Zaya on the other side, also banning out 2 supports in the last rotation, so is pinching that support champion pool quite heavily.
Yeah, no, I mean, I assume that Ben, especially since going away to LAN and practicing very hard for that to come out with the win, I assume he's added even more champions to his pool, but he's being very heavily targeted there with the Morgana first, as well as the Nautilus that he's shown really good games on, and the Lux as well, so it'll be nice to see what else he brings out. The Leona, nice aggressive champion to be paired with the Kai'Sa there. That's going to create havoc with engages. Think about the Ornn as well, like, that's a pretty disgusting teamfight engage they have right there.
So much engaged, so much frontline as well. That's what we got to think about too, because you can just have your Kai'Sa sitting on the back line, or if she wants, she can just go for the full engage. You have the Galio to follow up as well with the heroic entrance, so you have so much team fight potential coming out from the side of Radiant. They just want to fight, fight, fight. You have a Sejuani, well, we have the rest of the team just to back us up.
Yeah, and we see the Corki being locked in to finish it off with as a good pick against the Galio. Move back in, I'll move us back to us. Get those picks taken out. Yeah, they'll have to recreate the lobby and do everything and get those proper picks in. Matchup to watch for this game, I did initially have as top lane. I think I would still look towards that, definitely. I think seeing Dino Ricard again on his Kled is going to be really, really fun, especially when he gets to those late game team fights. I remember in week 1 how iconic it was to see him just 1v9 those fights. I mean, Radiant really didn't deserve to win that game, but then Dino Ricard coming back in and showing as well as he did, he definitely deserved to win the game.
He did indeed, and we'll see if he can lead his team to victory, especially up against the Scar with that Jax, a matchup that you said we should keep our eyes on, but a matchup that we've seen go heavily in favor of the Jax as we got later on into the game because he just scales so insanely well. However, as we mentioned, we do have the Ornn on the side of Radiant, so that can help them out with that little bit of an item trough that can manifest itself.
Yeah, no, definitely. And these two top laners, they're definitely some of the stronger players that we do have in the league. I would see them as quite strong carries for both of the sides. Talked earlier about Mythos and how strong their solo laners really are, and I would see Scar as a big carry player for them. So if Dino Ricard can keep him occupied and not allow him to gain too many advantages within his lane, I see it being a really, really hard game for Mythos to end up winning. Ollie and Oliver last week really managed to prove that the top side of the map isn't the only threat from the side of Mythos. While not playing amazing teams in the last 2 wins that they had, I think they played against Absolved and then Bulldogs. The Bulldogs win, really, really good, shows that they can be a top 4 team. The Absolved one, whatever you say, they still managed to have a good performance and come out with the win there, but showing that they do have threats all across the map there, and hopefully Ollie and Ollie can really take it to Jin Lightning and Hyojung.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Hyojung is kind of that bot lane support carry that we've seen him be several times, and Jin Linting, he's either Jin Zane or Jin Inting. So, which is he going to be today? Is he going to be kind of Inting, or is he going to be that hard carry that we've seen him be time and time again? And then we have to think about the matchup in the middle lane, the Corki into the Galio. You said the Corki has a favorable matchup. So is Ornn going to be trying and help him out in that middle lane as much as he can, or do you think that he's going to try and snowball Dino Ricard on this Kled and try and give him a bit more favorable matchup into the Jack?
I definitely think they'll be playing towards the side lanes this game. I think the Galio will, especially with the teleport, will just try and look to influence those other lanes, try and roam, especially when he hits 6, obviously. You can just picture it in your mind now, like the Ornn going down when he hits 6, Galio hits 6. We've got the Leona ulti, the Kai'Sa ulti. Zaya obviously has a lot of protection with her ulti, but once that goes down, there's still a lot of other threats coming in from the side of Radiant that are still going to prove troublesome for her. You see, like, even Corki has the cleanse coming out as well, so they're definitely fearing all of the CC that they have within those team fights, especially if Oliver on this Pyke ends up moving to roam and try and assist the other lanes, maybe try and get Corki ahead or try and get Jax ahead or move in with the jungler. If Ollie's left by himself, he's got to be really scared of the amount of engage that's coming out from the side of Radiant.
Yeah, because if you miss something on Leona, you still have a couple things in your back pocket just to back you up. You have your Solar Flare, you have your Zenith Blade. If you miss one of them, you can go in with the other one. You can only use your ultimate on Xayah once before it goes on cooldown, and then you pretty much, if you don't have your flash, you're just sitting duck. So if that Pyke decides to leave, you have to almost be guaranteed to get something in another lane, guaranteed to get a kill for the Corki or kill for yourself. Otherwise, you can't call worth.
Yeah, no, definitely. And overall for the league, looking towards playoffs now, these last couple of weeks are going to be really crucial for these teams. You spoke earlier about the expectations for both of these teams. If Mythos do manage to win this game, they will actually draw level with Radiant, and obviously because they've beaten them in the head-to-head matchup, I believe they'll have the tiebreaker over them. I'm not sure how it will work with other teams that may have beaten Mythos, but yeah, it's going to be really scary for Radiant, and going into the final, like, they'll be under a lot of pressure if they don't manage to come out with the win today.
As we said, Radiant came into this league as almost in everyone's minds as an almost guaranteed top 4 spot, and now they're playing against what most people would have thought of as maybe last place, second last place, that sort of area, and they can almost tie up against them. That's not what everyone was thinking.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I think that what Mythos have done in keeping the parts of the factory that work and, you know, ditching the ones that didn't prove so well within the team has really done well for them. Replacing the 2 solo laners has given them a lot of strength where they previously would have been falling very hard to some of, you know, you think of how strong the solo laners we have in this league, like, you know, Bendix, for example, you got Dynamikar, you got Akkers, you've got so many really strong solo laners. So being able to bring in Scar and Wins has given them a lot of hope within the league, and definitely gives them much more of a chance to go far.
And it's definitely shown that last breath, the second wind, as I should say, because in the last couple of weeks they've gotten 2 wins. And they were all sitting on 0-3. Everyone thought they were down and out. They just couldn't find any purchase in any of their games, and now they're on a winning streak almost. And if they go up against Radiant and win, that really shows that they might be able to make playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got a 100% win ratio with the new solo laners that they brought in. Radiant will be looking at that and will be worried about that, definitely, and that's something they're really going to target and have to look at. The solo laners for this game are going to be extremely impactful.
And a lot of roam potential from the Galio and the Corki as well, so we have to keep our eyes on the package, keep our eyes on that level 6 point for the Galio. He'll want to start roaming about the map, getting Jhin online, trying to snowball him, get him these kills, especially when you have Hyoyang on the Leona that wants to be so aggressive in the lane. And pre-level 6, Xayah is a sitting duck. Pyke, yes, has engaged, disengaged, but you're not going to do a huge amount when you have your Leona kind of Zenith blading right into your face.
Yeah, no, and we said earlier, like, the amount of engage on that team is really, really, really scary. For the side of Mythos, talking again about this matchup, if you want to be drawing against one of those like top 4 teams, I think if you're Mythos, one of those teams you really do want to be drawing against is Radiant. You know, being able to beat Viperio is great, but then to lose to a team like NSG, who really haven't performed very well within the league so far, and they've had a lot of questionable games. You know, one of the most volatile teams, you want to be going against Radiant if you have to go against anyone that's within those top 4 teams.
So I have to see if they can perform on the day, if Mythos can use that birthday power from Addo, see if they can pick up the win and tie up against Radiant. We'll be loading onto the Rift in just a minute. Kled in the hands of Dynamikar, his fabled Kled that saved them in their first game of the league, but he's up against Jax in the hands of Scar, so it could be all for naught.
Yeah, no, and in fairness to Dynamikar, it wasn't even like necessarily like in the 1v1 where he really matched his stuff. He managed to get like a pretty decent CS lead. It was really in the team fights that he managed to show his strength on that champion and show how well he knows it and how he can utilize these gold leads. So with such a strong team fight comp that Radiant does have, I do really fear for Mythos when you put him on that Kled again. I mean, I think it must have been banned out heavily throughout the other games, but we are back into game now, so I'll switch there.
And what worries me from the side of Mythos is that it feels like Radiant's comp is much easier to execute, much easier to coordinate, whereas for Mythos, they're kind of a pick comp. They're a little bit of a team fight comp as well, because you have the Sejuani, you have some team fight capability from Scar, from Oliver, but you still want to have Wins and Ollie just sitting on the back line, just firing out auto attacks, using their abilities whenever they can, and you just don't have that much of a front line as you have on the side of Radiant.
Yeah, no, not at all. And we do see the spell book coming out for the Ornn as well. I think that is what you probably would expect to have on him. Yeah. You know, Ornn, ideally, you're not really going to be backing on that champion, especially when you pick up a few items and you get those sustained jungle items. I do actually remember all of the Twitter stuff you were talking about with LS and the memes around like honey fruit enthusiast. But
yeah,
the spellbook really does manage to give him a lot of versatility with those summoner spells. He doesn't really need the smite as much. Obviously, it's going to be great for using for objectives, but he doesn't really need it to clear camps and stuff. So it's a good little versatile ring for him to pick up there. Just standard stuff from both teams.
Yeah, another thing about that spellbook as well is if he wants to make a gank, he can, from the levels, from the minute 6 point where he can change up his summoner spells, he can turn it into a more aggressive spell. He can go into a ghost if he wants that little bit of a more movement speed to make that gank happen. He can go into an ignite for a bit more damage, Grievous Wounds as well, so it can do a lot for him when making ganks.
Yeah, definitely. And we see the wards coming out there. Side of Radiant are aware that Atto's just taken the red, moving down to his blue side now, so the bot side will be a little wary.
Well, they should be, and he's going to go onto his wolves here and make a red side to blue side clear. So going to be pretty standard from both junglers, and as you said earlier, Dunlosi will not really need to back at any point because of the fact that he has the honey fruit and the river, and he also has his passive, so we'll just be able to forge any weapons or any items that he needs.
Yeah, and we spoke about the momentum that Mythos had. Little early trade.
Good engage after the counter strike. Gonna get a nice amount of damage down. Dino Car forced back underneath the tower, and just gonna get additional pressure around this top lane wave and try and force him away.
Yeah, great early dominance from Scar there, showing that, you know, he knows that he can win these early trades with the counter-strike coming out from Jax, a really, really strong level 1 ability, and Dino Ricard falls a little bit behind and he's going to have to burn a few pots for it. But the momentum that Mythos really will have coming into this game will give them a lot of confidence. You know,
Yeah, early engage, gets the stun down onto Hyoyoung, won't be able to find the Blade Caller for additional stun. Pull back with the bones. Can they find First Blood? Flashes forward, but the permafrost should come down. First Blood will be found by Addo on his birthday. Try and find them back, but won't be able to find much.
Yeah, you spoke about the birthday luck coming through. It's definitely coming there with the First Blood. I mean, Radiant knew that that's exactly what Sejuani was going to do. They saw that he cleared the red and then moved down into the blue side, so it really should be expected. And maybe they didn't expect the lane gank, but still a little bit sloppy from the side of Radiant.
They did know that he was towards the bot side, but maybe it's a little bit of a disrespect. Maybe it's that, as you said, they didn't expect the lane gank. Maybe it's that they weren't expecting such early aggression against a Leona. Leona wants to be this aggressive support where they just want to keep going for these engages, and with mid lane going back and forth and it should be in favor of wins, perhaps they didn't expect the priority either.
Yeah, no. And talking about this mid-matchup again, he has taken the Klepto on the Corki, so that's going to give him a lot of scaling when it comes to smacking that Galio whenever he wants with his abilities. You know, ranged into melee is already pretty rough, but when the ranged champion is also...
Ornn towards the top side now, Counter-Strike comes out, has the flash available, will not have to use it. You can go for a tower dive with the Kled because of his Scarl, but just decide to get a bit of pressure towards his top side and back away.
Yeah, maybe it would have been better for the Ornn to sort of wait a little bit. It's obvious that the Jax was going to, you know, ward hop and Q, so it would have been good to maybe wait out a little bit more, but still blows his ward, so he probably won't be able to survive many more ganks.
Smite comes through from Addo there just to get the experience and gold from his Krugs. Looking for a fight though. In comes the headbutt, and Scar looking for to find the damage, has to jump to safety, but in comes the flash away now from the Jax. Dino Ricard looking for to put down the damage of the Addo. This is safety of the tower, and No one goes down in this top side, but flashes burn on both sides.
Yeah, no, sort of a good invade from Dunlosey. There we go. Good to move in there, get the priority. He knows that he has this early game aggression with the Kled and with the Ornn. Moved in there and managed to cause a bit of a ruckus. Take the golems as well, which is good.
Not too shabby from either side at this early stage, and pretty even on gold now as well. Scar not really feeling the hurt in this top side, even though early it should be in favor of the Kled. He's managing to keep relatively even with Dino Ricard. As I say that, another engage, and it's just going to be a nice amount of chip damage. And again in mid lane, look for an engage, gets the taunt down, and wins. Just got to the lane, and he is almost forced to back.
Yeah, that is really, really rough. A bit naive to go in for the minion gank. It gives Galio that chance to jump straight onto you and pump out a lot of damage, and that's really, really great for Mental, actually. He's going to be able to back, move into the lane. He could possibly actually TP, and he's going to be way ahead of Wings in terms of the amount of pots he has.
Nice dash from Dino Ricard just to go away from the counter-strike there. He's seeming to feel more comfortable the further the lane goes on with the matchup against the Jax. And nice amount of damage coming out. Nice amount of poke in the bot lane from Jhin with the Q.
This could be a kill here with the ulti, actually.
Just playing safe as possible. Scar not level 6 just yet. Out comes the charge though. We'll dash away with
It's gotta go,
Q, and
yeah.
Yeah, just gonna go down just like that.
Yeah, and that shows, you know, Dino Ricard, he's going to be able to know when he's going to kill you. He's going to know how much damage his champion does and how much damage your champion does to him when he's played so many games on this champ. It was a little bit disrespecting those sort of level 1 early, level 2, level 1 early trades from the Jax because he didn't really respect the counter-strike and he took a lot of damage from that, but he's managed to come back, pick up the solo kill on the lane, and he's picked up a nice 10 CS lead as well.
Not too shabby from Dino Ricard, and hopefully he can snowball that a little bit more. We'll be backing to pick up his Tiamat, so he'll have a little bit of additional damage, a little bit of additional wave clear now in that top side. And Sky just needs to wait it out, wait for it to get his Trinity Force and anything else that he wants to pick up on this Jax. And he will outscale. That's the important thing to remember. So he just needs to kind of play the patient game, not go too overly aggressive unless maybe he has Addo waiting in the wings.
Yeah, no, there is a lot of scaling within these solo lanes. The Corki's gonna, whoops, is gonna have a lot of damage when he picks up those items and he gets that Triforce, and the Klepto's only gonna allow him to get there a lot quicker. Yeah, these solo lanes are gonna be very, very scary when they start hitting a few items.
Called Forge God comes down, dash away, will not tag onto anyone. That's a flash forward. Hyoyoung taking a lot of tower shots. He will go down. Ollie picks up that kill. Credit's gonna find one underneath the tower. Dunlosey taking a couple of tower shots for his trouble, as well as Jhin Lightning picks up the second kill. They do get 2 for 1.
What did I say in Champion Select? As soon as those champions hit 6, they're going to be heading down to that bot lane. They're going to pop the Ornn ulti from range. It's got such great gank assist. They had the Galio ulti as well. Push them into their tower, crash those waves, and it's a really, really good play from Radiant to be able to utilize those level 6 spikes.
Beautifully well done. Sad that they had to lose Hyoyoung in that engage, but he was tagging up the tower, made sure Dunlosey didn't go down. Jhin could just go into the back line with the ultimate and eventually picked up 2 kills, but now Addo's in the top side, has the ultimate available if he wants to use it. Dino Ricard in a lot of trouble here. Permafrost will be flashed away, but he has to try and get away. We'll lose Scarl. Out comes the ultimate from the Sejuani. Can they pick up the kill? Tanking the tower for days. Addo will manage to survive, but wins in the middle lane. Hyoyoung will pick up that kill. Nirvana underneath the tower. Not quite enough damage from Ollie. He doesn't have his ultimate, crucially, so he can't find the kill.
Yeah, just trying to make too many plays across the map there. You know you're going to be making a play with Atto in the top lane there, and it's great for them to be able to understand the Kled passive and be able to hold that Sejuani ulti until the right moment to be able to pick up the kill. Maybe should have just held back a little bit and wins or fall back and maybe lose this gold lead that he would have picked up in the mid lane. Yeah, now a gold advantage to Galio.
Not feeling too bad if you are the Galio in a losing matchup. Have a bit of a CS advantage. Have your first item as well, so he's feeling pretty good and not looking too bad in that middle lane, and can make further roams like that in the bottom side if he has the coordination with his team. But speaking of roams, might want to start roaming for wins as well once the package is available, which it is. He has it picked up, so just waiting, looking for it to happen, but Addo is in the bot side. Not able to find any purchase though. We'll just have to back away.
Yeah, no, and touching on the mid lane matchup again, I mean, if you've used your ulti to roam as a Galio, you know, your melee into range, and the ranged opponent you are against is a Corki with a Klepto, and you have the gold lead at 10 minutes, that's got to feel pretty good for the side of Radiant. And, you know, gold leads in, I think, every single, I would assume most lane. Oh no, still gold lead in the favor of top lane, actually. But, I mean, he seems to be holding up pretty well, and the ulti comes out.
Call the Forge gone now, and they will find the pick onto Addo, but Wins is also the target. That's so much damage so early from the Kled. One more hit with the Pocket Pistol will secure the kill, but Dyrokar, he's in a lot of trouble. In comes the Jax from the side. He is still in his Kled form. He will be taken out, and the taunt comes through onto the Sejuani. He'll be taken down eventually. As Scar, now the target will go in. Doesn't have the counter strike, but the double kill comes through. Oliver has to try and piece out onto the side. Now the Galio is against Scar. He should find yet another kill. That's the triple.
Oh, that Jax is going to be scary now. That 4-1 on him, being able to come in and clean up that team fight. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised that Radiant didn't manage to take it off. You look at those ultis and the team fight presence that they have, you think you should be able to take skirmishes like that pretty easily. But no, great play from Mythos to be able to weather that and be able to go in and pick up those lasting kills.
Looking so good now for Scar. 4-1. You were in a losing matchup. You now have your Sheen, you have your Phage, you have your Ninja Tabby. So you're feeling. Actually, he decides to undo that and go for the Mercury Threads instead. But you're feeling pretty good in that lane. You're sitting pretty. You're not feeling too bad up against Dyrokar. You've got a couple of kills under your belt. You're starting to scale.
Yeah, no, I think the Ninja Tabby would have been the worst choice there, looking at the amount of CC they have in those team fights, especially if he wants to not just be that split push threat, but be able to, pardon me, come into those team fights and be able to jump on the carries like Jin Linting and be able to assassinate him pretty well.
Looking for a pick. Bone Spear comes out, but it's onto Hyoyoung. Will get the hop over the wall. Not going to really find anything. Not the target that you want to go for, this tanky Leona. Just gonna pick up that Rip Skull, get some extra vision around this objective. Won't be spawning for another minute and 10 seconds, and it will be a Cloud Drake. So not the most hotly contested of the Drakes, but good for a little bit of rotational presence.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we see that next dragon coming up in about a minute will be a Wind Drake, so it'll be good to get the vision cover. You see how much presence Radiant have with the vision there. They'll be looking to take that up. Although it's not the most impactful Drake, you know, if you're in the position they're in, especially on the bot side, and you have that advantage, you'll want to be trying to press that as much as you can. I think top side is, you know, pretty hard for them to impact now, especially when Jax is going to be picking up his Triforce very soon. He's going to be very, very strong, and that Corki also moving towards that Triforce is going to get it about the same time as well.
And Addo now towards his bottom side has the ultimate available if he wants to try and find something. Last man not available for to get the hop over the wall to get sneak around, but they will summon the Rift Herald in the mid lane for extra damage. Still under the 14-minute mark, so they will get a nice amount of gold from these plates. And that will go over to 3 members of the side of Radiant.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really big turning point for Radiant if they manage to execute it well. They're going to get a lot of damage on that mid lane tower. They picked up a lot of plates there, and they'll move down to the dragon now and try and pick it up.
Has the rotation available from Mental Nirvana as well. Ultimate available for him. As Jin takes a free tower shot there, just going to get some chip damage down onto Ollie. They have started up this Cloud Drake now. Can be contested by Addo towards that bottom side as well. And
yeah, you did see the ping coming out. I think they are aware that the Ornn is on it and just started it. Yeah, Pike coming in now.
Pulled back, out comes Exhaust as well. Has to flash away, just respecting the amount of damage that can come through. Flash away from Oliver, as Wins is off to the side. Hyoyoung flashes away as well. The Permafrost didn't get to stack. Is just a Cloud Drake, but they don't want to give over anything.
Yeah, no, and that's a lot of ultis blown, unfortunately. The Ornn ulti and the Leona ulti went on that Pike, and he managed to flash out and dodge both of them, so there's not really much that Radiant could have done after that.
And now it is picked up by the side of Mythos, so that will be good for them to have in their back pocket. Maybe for a bit of chase down potential as well. dangerously low, this bottom lane tier 1, as they will go for a cheap invade.
Oh no, he did
I
get
think
it.
Addo managed to pick it up.
Birthday luck still coming through. Yeah, no, Radiant still want to be playing towards this bot side. It's where they still have those advantages. The Jax now has his Triforce, so he's going to be an absolute menace. I would expect him to be able to 1v2 at this point, to be honest. Like, on this spike, he is just so huge. The Kled's still going to deal a lot of damage to him, and the amount... He's going to take this tower here, actually, I think, as well. Yeah, with the Sheen proc as well.
Contested.
Ooh, that's gonna be even more gold in that Jax's pocket. That's just gonna scale even further. I think the split push win condition has really opened up here for Mythos.
I think he's about 1,700 gold above Dino Ricard at this point, and at 15 minutes as the Kled, you don't want to hear that your lane opponent of a Jax is 1,700 gold above you. You want to be the one that has 17 gold above him so that you can make these plays happen. You can still solo him potentially at that point, but you don't have any finished items yourself, and that is why they're putting so much presence towards this top side, and Addo and the rest of the team seem to have their spidey senses tingling. They are rotating up themselves, goes in with the Q there, but out comes the charge, in comes the call of the Forge God as well. Who will it tag onto? Who will tag onto the Jax? Counter strike now used, will hop, skip, and jump to safety with the flash, and no one goes down.
Little bit lucky from Scar there, does have to blow the flash, but I mean, maybe in solo queue you can go for that. The ADC might be by himself, but not in a competitive game. The ADC really should not be there by himself.
I think they knew. I think they felt that they were nearby. Actually, were they spotted out by a ward? There is a ward in that river brush. I'm not sure when that was put down, so they might have actually had vision of them there.
Oh yeah.
Relatively recently, so might have been there during or prior to that engage.
I mean, I really wouldn't want to be fighting Mythos right now. They've just picked up the 2 Triforce power spikes. They're going to be really strong right now.
Dino Ricard had to flash. He's just caught out in the enemy jungle, but they're going for the engage here. Scar, so powerful. Dino Ricard should be taken out. In comes the death from below now. And Scar will also be taken out. Out comes the barrier just to buy him a little bit of space, but he'll just be taken out. Executed. Gold goes over to Mythos.
Yeah, and although the Jax managed to go in there, he didn't get much damage off, but he did manage to pick up the kill. And, you know, like I was saying, you know, seconds before it, it's not a good time to be fighting Mythos when they've just hit their Triforce spike. You want to be waiting. Like, Dino Ricard, he's you know, only a few bits of gold away, I would assume, from picking up his Black Cleaver. You would have been stronger then. The Ornn, he's only a few little bits away from picking up his Iceborne Gauntlet. You know, it probably would have been better just to leave, wait. I mean, it gets even worse as I look down the board. You know, Kais is just about to pick up her Ginzus as well. You need to be waiting for these power spikes that your team can have and the advantages that you can take out of it. You don't want to be taking fights that you just don't need to when the other team is on such a huge power spike.
And it was all down to Dino Ricard being caught out by that red buff. He just got caught out there. It forced the flash out of him as well, so he couldn't further escape. And it forced the engage from Mental Nirvana just to be sure that they might be able to pick up something. They got a 2-for-1 in that fight, but it's all down to positioning, or mispositioning, I should say.
Yeah, no, and we see Jax also, he's going to be itemizing towards the Spear of Shojin as well. That's going to be really strong on this split push. He is really going for that split push heavy build, and you can see the amount of pressure that Radiant are putting towards that Jax. They don't want to leave Dino Ricard alone in a lane with him.
They are so scared of him right now. It will be a Mountain Drake coming up in the next 35 seconds, so that will help more with the siege from either team, especially from the side of Mythos, since they have 2 AD carries. Just looking to establish some of their vision around this objective and try and wipe out any vision that's established from the other team. It's successfully so far been done by Radiant.
Yeah, no, it's a great line of vision wards that they do have there, and Hyojung finishing up that last little bit of ward that they have with vision of the river. I would expect this dragon to be going to the side of Radiant, but we'll have to see. That Jax is, you know, still quite a strong presence in this game right now. But great vision cover from Radiant here to be able to sneak in that dragon.
Well, they've started it off. Looks like it's just going to go wholly uncontested over to Radiant. Wins, however, is pushing the top lane, establishing some side lane presence, and they're going to establish some of their own vision around this Baron that's spawning in the next 6 seconds or so.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good choice from Mythos. You don't want to be fighting them, like I said earlier, with the power spikes. Radiant have just hit quite a lot of them there. Oh, little fight coming out.
A lot of damage. Gonna get the charge away. Oh, that's a nice jump just to cancel it. We'll have to use the Joust to get further to safety towards the safety of his tier 1 tower. And goes for engage here. Veloci will manage to just walk it out.
Yeah, great to blow that Kled ultimate as well. That's gonna really limit Dino Rakar's roaming potentially. Still does have the TP, but
go for the tower dive. Doesn't use the ultimate to get additional tanky stats. Just wants to get a little bit of the fear of God maybe into Dino Rakar there. Show him that he is not scared to go for these tower dives. That he is able to 1v1 him no matter where he is.
Yeah, he will go back and pick up the Black Cleaver now, which is going to help him quite a lot in this lane. And in general within the team, but especially when he goes up against that Sejuani, he's going to give him a little bit more tankiness as well to hopefully cope with it. I mean, every time he leaves a lane, he's going to be losing a tower to Scar now, especially as he managed to pick up more items. Like, you can't be that far up in the lane and be taking bad trades and blowing your ultimate against him, because he's just going to be taking something out of it every single time now.
2,200 gold difference between Dino Rakar and the Scar. That is a lot of gold to be in the pocket of a Jax versus a Kled.
Yeah, I would be very, very terrified of him right now if I was Dino Rakar.
Still have a lot of utility, a lot of team fighting tools on the side of Radiant, however, so not all is lost. Only just over 1,000 gold difference in favor of Mythos at this point.
Yeah.
So it's not looking too bad, but you kind of have that timer over your head for the Scar. Once he reaches 3-4 items, he's in a side lane. You have to send maybe 3 or 4 members just to deal with the Jax.
Yeah,
and if he's in the bot side and you don't have established vision, you can't get the teleport into contest Baron. That's going to be a free Baron for Mythos.
Yeah, definitely. And he has just picked up the Spear of Shojin as well there. There's no way that he doesn't smash this 1v1 right now, maybe even 1v2. And slightly touching on Dunlosi in his first game for Radiant. How do you think he's performed so well? I think they've picked a pretty easy to execute comp with the team fights and the split push presence as well, so it's good to be doing that when you don't have a lot of synergy. But he's managed to come in and do pretty well in his debut, actually.
Yeah, I think he's actually performing quite well. It's against a renewed Mythos roster. If it was against the old Mythos and it was going this kind of way, I'd be thinking something a little along the lines of, what's really going on here? But since it's a renewed, you have the Scar, you have wins now, and they're on a win streak of 2 wins so far, maybe even a third with this game. I'm thinking that he's performing quite well for what we have here.
Yeah, definitely. And
they go for an engage here. Call Forge God will manage to connect onto Ollie there, forces his flash out. Good use of the ultimate just to burn that summoner. Will not be able to use that for further engage or disengage later on.
Yeah, and the difference this time is that for the Pike Flash, they only actually blew the Ornn ulti. They didn't blow the Leona ulti as well, so they still have some potential engage there if they want to use it.
It looks like they're going for the engage. Tries to throw out the taunt, but will not catch onto anyone. Bone Skewer comes out, and they're just toying with them at this point, trying to feel them out, see what they can and can't do. Now, 2 item power spikes being hit by most of the carries across the board. Second one picked up now by Ollie, Essence Reaver, and the Fairy Edge picked up by him. You have the fully stacked more mana coming out from Kaisa as well, so he's feeling good. He's starting to scale up. He's 101, 240 CS, so he's going to start pumping out a lot of damage. He has a heal as well to the teleport from Ollie, so that'll help them out a lot more in these team fights.
Yeah, definitely. And going back to the jungle matchup again, Atto, maybe a little catch here.
Yeah, Scar goes in with the counter-strike, but he's all alone, has Oliver off to the side, but he can't do a 2 versus 5 at this point. Oliver's so low here, looking for the engage. In he goes with the Jin, picks up the kill onto the Pike Flash.
Oh, Yorno!
Follow the Forge God is so good, but the Scar gonna try his damnedest. He'll be cut down in his prime. Ollie has to use the Blade Collar, the Feather Storm, just to try and buy himself a little bit of time. Bear Trap on a rope now. Addo caught out, and he will be skewered. Blade Collar comes out, and Hyoyoung will also be taken down, but that's a beautiful fight for Radiant.
Yeah, I mean, that's Radiant playing to their win condition there of those team fights and how strong they can be with the ultis, especially in such a tight zone as the red side jungle when you're near those raptors. The Ornn ulti is monstrous. The Leona ulti is monstrous. It's so hard to be able to get away from all of that CC. The AoE CC is just, it's too strong, and they managed to take out a pretty good team fight there, and they'll keep their Baron vision.
They will surrender this Mountain Drake over to the side of Mythos. That will be an answering Mountain Drake to the one already picked up by Radiant. So these team fights are so back and forth, but you don't fight a Galio, Ornn, Leona in a choke point.
Yeah, no, not at all, especially. Yeah, no, especially when Kai'Sa's just hit her 3 items back. And we talk about the scaling from the Jax. The scaling from the Kai'Sa is going to be equally as terrifying when she has that much peel, and the amount of damage she'll be able to pump out in team fights is going to be absurd.
What do you do on the side of Mythos now? It feels like you just can't go for these 5-on-5 team fights, or is it because Scar went in alone? Basically alone, you had Oliver off to the side. I'll hold that for a second. They do get a pick. Death from below will secure that kill, and Hyoyoung. We're talking about people being caught out. Dino Ricard earlier, Scar with the help of Oliver, and now Hyoyoung. It's just a game of throws at this point almost.
Yeah, no, definitely a lot of catches out here have been determining the pace of the game quite a lot. I mean, Mythos just have to try and let Scar perform well in the side lane, and that's exactly what he's doing now. He's pushing up, he's applying the pressure, he's taking the towers. He's going to still win out that matchup between him and Dino Ricard. Dino Ricard's managed to pick up a few more items now and get a little bit of gold lead, but that's still like a 50 CS deficit in favor of the Jax. And yeah, Mythos just need to play the side lane, not team fight, not allow them to get what they want. Make sure that you establish that vision inside your red jungle so you can spot these things out. Try and defend it if you can, but you know, if the Ornn gets close enough, or the Yeonli gets close enough, and they're going to try and ult you, and they're going to hold you down in a choke point, you want to try and get out of that ASAP. And this pick onto Hyoyoung's really managed to allow them to stall things out a bit more, allow that Jax to go and pick up that free tower and delay that Baron for as long as they can.
And it's as you say, you don't want to go for these team fights, but you can play the split push game. Force them to answer Scar in the bottom side, and then if they do answer with 2-3 players, you can just go for a Baron. If Dunlosi is there, you can go onto him. He's just an Ornn, doesn't have a huge amount of damage, but he can be quite tanky.
Ooh.
But he will find it quite hard to try and go for a steal, and that's a wasted ultimate from Hyoyoung.
Yeah, no, not great. I mean, like, again, they still have the Ornn ulti, or the Kled ulti if they need it, so it's not all lost. That's not all of their engage gone, but it's definitely going to be noticeable in that team fight.
Scar continuing to push in this bottom side. They started off on the Baron, though, from the side of Radiant, forcing Addo to respond. Hyoyoung doesn't have the ultimate available for another 40 seconds.
I think they're just going to try.
1,000 health. They're just going to let it go. Now Hyoyoung is the target, but can they take the team fight? We talked about it before. We said that they couldn't, but Call of the Forge God will connect onto Addo. In comes the package from the side, but not going to do a huge amount. Killer Instinct will get the kill. And Scar on the backline, trying his damage. Doesn't even find the Leona. He is left alone, left to die. Death from below finds nothing. As Ollie goes down, he will find one. And the team fight is split 3-for-3.
I think Mythos are very... Oh, still not over.
Not done yet. Scar still alive. We'll just find the return kill onto Dino Ricard there, and we'll go over to Oliver because of the Ignite. So they do end up finding the team fight win, but Dunlosi still has the Baron buff.
I think Mythos are very lucky to not end up losing that team fight, to be honest. It seemed like there was just no decision actually being made from the side. You know, you had Scar still not doing much in the side lane, just clearing out vision in the river. And, you know, he didn't TP very early at all to help out with the team. You know, Sejuani and Xayah seemed to be off on their own, doing their own thing, trying to fight Dino Ricard. They weren't anywhere near the Baron. And Wynn's backing with the late TP in with the package. I mean, it managed to do well in the team fight, but it just didn't seem like there was much organization from the side of Mythos there, and I think they'll be very happy to be able to come out of that, removing so many Barons and equalizing the gold lead.
Definitely the best that they could have hoped for going into that engage, especially with, as you said, it looked like a lack of coordination amongst the team. And now 40 seconds until the next Mountain Drake is up. That will help them out a lot for any following sieges. And Dunlosi now starting, as he has reached that level 14 point, he's starting to use that passive and away from Hyoyoung, but will be pulled back with the bone. Caught out once again. Death from below finds the kill.
I mean,
just can't keep doing that, Hyoyoung.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looked like a bit of a good flash from Hyoyoung to be able to move out of there and miss the Sejuani ulti, but a great pull back in from Oliver there to pull him in for the second burst of the Sejuani ulti. Really, really good catch, and Hyoyoung, you know, he's 165 now. He's been a culprit in these catches quite a few times now, and it's really costing his team now.
Really, really is. And as I was saying, Dunlosi has his passive. He has used that on himself for his Iceborne Gauntlet, made that into a Frozen Fist. He has Luden's Echo now into a Luden's Pulse. So starting to get these extra this extra amount of damage coming out thanks to his passive, but Mythos look almost unstoppable at this point. Picked up that second Mountain Drake, so they're just tearing through these towers, through these enemy objectives and neutral objectives with the 280 carries.
Yeah, and I mean, the tower and the dragon there, you can attest to Hyoyoung getting caught out there. They really weren't able to challenge it without the Leonority, without that extra support for the engage there. And, you know, it's good from Radiant not to go in for that 4v5, but, you know, it's a shame that that was the situation that they were left with.
Now, what do you do on the side of Radiant? Do you keep going for these team fights? Do you look for picks? Because you're just getting picked off left and right yourselves.
I think as long as you team fight and you stick together, you protect the Kai'Sa and get your ultis off in a good choke point, then you still win those team fights pretty handedly. The Jax is going to be a team fight presence now with his Starax and the amount of resistances he's being able to pick up and the health he has, but I think it's still winnable for them, especially with how good Jin Linting is on this Kai'Sa. I know he's going to be able to play it to the best of his ability and pump out as much damage as he can.
I keep almost calling him Jin Lightning, but...
Yeah, me too.
Just looking for something, hoping that they'll find a connection onto someone. They know that he's on that chicken. Oliver, just gonna get rid of some of this vision here. Gets a hook onto Hyoyoung. Now Call of the Forge God comes out. He just gets killed! Just straight up! Call of the Forge God tags onto two. It will be Scar as one of them. Blade Caller will find the stun onto Dunlosi, but they're just looking for the front-to-back team fight here. Ollie and Scar so low. In comes the charge now, looking for a target. Will tag onto Oliver, but they're onto Ollie as well. He'll be shut down. Flash away now from Nirvana. Zyro looking for something in this team fight. Nirvana just burning in the backline. He will just about survive thanks to the level up. And that was such a chaotic team fight, 1-for-1. And now just a pause comes through. Apparently there's a bit of a lag from the side of Mythos, but these team fights not going the way that we thought they would, not going the way that one might assume that they should go. It should go in favor of Radiant.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, that wasn't necessarily, you know, Hyoyoung like making a silly play and getting caught out. You know, he's just being targeted by Oliver with those Qs. I mean, I think it was like 3 that he managed to get off and move out and survive before one finally ended up finishing him off there. But Jin Lighting, there we go, is managing to go in there and still pump that damage out pretty well. It's really, really hard, especially now that you see the Xayah. I'm really surprised she actually managed to die in that fight with her ultimate, with the QSS she's managed to pick up now. I'd imagine she has a lot of safety. She's almost got her flashback up as well, so next team fight, I would really be surprised if she manages to go down, even with all the CC that you have in there. Maybe if Kled manages to get onto the backline somehow and cause a ruckus there, but we are back on the pause.
I think it was Dino Ricard jumped with the charge onto Oliver and then just tagged onto Ollie as kind of an afterthought. He just saw him there. He was like, I'm gonna have him and then he just bursts him down. But Ado goes in with the flash, going for such an aggressive move here. The Corki will find the kill onto the Kai'Sa. Flash away now from Dunlosi. Scar looking for a pick onto Dino Ricard. He has the GA, so he will survive a little bit once he goes down. But Scar has other ideas. Mental Nirvana will be picked off as well as Dino Ricard will find the remount. But he's 1 versus 4 here. He is not meant for this world. He will be dismounted, and he gets the kill onto Ado. Where is this damage coming from? Death from below finds the kill onto the Ornn, but they're just surviving so much longer than you have to say that they should.
What is happening? What is happening?
Eventually going down, but Dino Ricard makes it out. He has his GA still available.
You got the Jax coming up for him now, although he is very low. He's going to try and pick up these minions to try and get his passive back up.
Finds the stun with the counter strike, but might get the remount here. Nope, GA will be procced. In he comes with the package. They should find the kill onto him here. Please wins, finds the kill credit, and Dino Ricard finally gets cut down. Ping's coming out for the Baron. They want to go onto this objective.
Yeah, no, and that should definitely go over to the side of them. You know, when Jin Linting dies in those team fights, it's going to be really, really hard for you to be able to find that damage to succeed. You know, Dino Ricard managed to pull out a little bit of it, and he managed to take down a couple of members, but it wasn't enough. You really need that Kai'Sa in those team fights, otherwise you just don't really have any damage. The Galio has gone on more of an AP-oriented build, but it doesn't really compare to the Kai'Sa at this point.
They melted through that Baron. Wasn't even nearly enough for them to be able to contest it. Now they're pinging for it to go toward this Elder Drake. That will help them out when they want to go for the siege. As we keep saying, they have 280 carries for the side of Mythos. They have 2 rapid fire cannons. They will be able to siege for days, especially with this Elder Drake. It's the first Elder Drake of the game since we just peaked over 35 minutes. So it won't be as substantial as the next Elder Drake, but might be able to go for a win with this one.
Yeah, it's still going to be really big for them with the amount of dragons that they have as well. It's going to be coming up in about 5 seconds. They'll look to try and get as much vision cover as they can. They've got the mid lane pressure. They've got the bot lane pressure moving in, so they should be able to take pretty easy vision cover of this.
Looks like they're just going to pull it out slightly. Tag onto it with
They'll melt this.
Yeah, they can't even remotely try, but that's a great bone skewer. Force the flash out of Hyoyoung. Going to go for the last ditch effort, last team fight, baby, and they go all in for
Oh my lord!
Left on his own. Wins, finds that kill. 3 quick kills go over to Mythos. Birthday boy bust is real. And they will try and go for the end here. They have the Baron, they have the Elder. Only 2 left to try and dissuade them. You have to feel you just cannot stop them at this point. Teleport comes in now from Winds. They're going to go for the end here. Dino Ricard going to try his damnedest. Try and just push them away from these Nexus towers. Call the Forge God will do nothing. Scar just tears through Dino Ricard. And now Ornn will follow. That's the second Nexus tower. That's the Nexus, and Mythos find their 3rd win in a row.
Yeah, great performance coming out from them there. They managed to equalize that with Radiant now. They'll have the tiebreaker over them. Really looking like a strong playoff team now. And great performances across the board from all of the members, really, actually. I mean, after they melted through that Elder Drake with the 2 mountains that they have, I mean, I was not surprised to see them delete the rest of the team with the amount of damage they were able to pump out there. Looking through here, if I just...
Have a look at the damage charts.
Yeah. Get a bit of a perspective on the game. Galio actually has managed to pump out a lot of damage in those fights. I sort of saw it in the couple of bursts that he had. But no, great for him to be able to come out there and have a decent amount of damage. But looking over to the winning side, Mythos, yeah, just great damage spread across the board there from all of the members.
Do you think it was the Galio that was kind of the weak side of the draft? Or do you think that was more a bit of communication, just being caught out a couple of times by various members of Radiant? Or is it something a bit deeper than that?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't think Galio is the best pick right now, and the Corki did manage to abuse it a little bit and gain a lot of gold through that Klepto, and did allow him to scale a bit more and allow him to match those spikes that the Jax had as well, so that they had a lot of team fight presence early on. But I wouldn't really attribute that to the failure of it. I think sometimes the team fights were very scrappy. You know, you see Jin Lighting going down quite easily. in a lot of those fights, which is why his damage was a lot lower than most of the other carriers across the board. Once he went down, it was difficult for them to come back and be able to win those fights. And when you're looking to be a team fight comp and your ADC's falling down quite early in a lot of them, it's going to be really difficult for you to come back.
Yeah, it definitely is. And now Radiant move to 3-3, so they are now tied with Mythos. And Mythos, they're trying to make that playoff run. Do we believe? Maybe. Maybe we do.
I believe.
They have one more game left to play. And then from there, it's down to tiebreakers. It's down to how the other teams are playing as well. So I will ask you, Governor, for your MVP for that game.
Ooh, I think it's really, really hard actually to call. I mean, I think Oliver actually managed to move around the map so well, and he got such crucial picks for the team. It's really hard. I think they all perform well. I mean, what's your opinion?
You see, it is really hard. Ollie played well, positioned well. Oliver made these roams, crucial bone skewers. Scar just dominated the early game, even though you kind of usually believed that they wouldn't as a Jax into the Kled matchup. Addo was just hitting ult after ult after ult. Great first blood as well. So it's very hard to call. I think I will give it over to Addo just because it's his birthday and it's hard.
Oh yeah, true. The best birthday gift of all, MVP and UKEL. Hell yeah! All right, we'll award it to him then. Well done, guys. Well on to the side of Mythos. Excited to see what you guys have for the coming weeks, and also as we move into playoffs. All right.
Definitely excited for that. We're gonna go to a quick break. When we come back, we will have our match of the week. That will be Click versus Viperia, top of the table clash. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our second game of the day is between Click and Viperio. Our match of the week is top of the table clash. Can Click remain undefeated going into playoffs? They, of course, have a bye next week because of the pulling out of Lion's Creed. So they will go 7-0 if they do pick up this win. But they have to go through Viperio to get it. Can they do it?
Yeah, and arguably, it's the toughest matchup they have, and it's convenient that it's the last one, especially moving into playoffs as well, because they can learn about the team a little bit more. Click have shown really, really strong team. Shown to be a really, really strong team throughout the split so far. So I hope for them to get that unbeaten record, because that's gonna feel really good, especially when you move into playoffs, and it's gonna give you a lot of confidence, especially if it's against Viperio and they manage to get the win out today, because that will guarantee their first place. If Viperio win this one and then they win next week as well, does that mean that Viperio end up in first? If they have, because then I assume
Viperio will win.
They would have like tiebreaker, wouldn't they?
Yeah, if Viperio win this one, they should have tiebreaker win. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and if they win next week, then they'll be first.
Yeah. So this is just, this is deciding who our best team is moving into playoffs, which will be really impactful, as the number one team gets to choose whoever they want out of the other three teams, to play against. So first seed is going to be one that you really, really want, especially in a best of series, where if maybe you don't want to show off as much, it's better to play against a weaker opponent that you don't have to really pull out all the stops for. So first seed is going to be very, very important for both of these teams here. And Click will just want to maintain that unbeaten record just for pride's sake, really. I think all players get that when you're so close to just being unbeaten or being on such a massive win streak. That can add to a lot of pressure. I think Click will feel more pressure than Viperio in this game, which could upset things a little bit. I don't think it will affect, obviously, players like Bendix, but maybe the others potentially. It depends what their mentality is, really. It could be, we've got so much momentum, we're just winning every single game, we're smashing everyone, it's going to be fine. Or it could be, we're top dog now, we're playing against the perceived underdog. And it depends what the mentality of the players are like. It could really go either way, but no, excited to see, this. It's not just the highlight matchup of the week, I think. It's definitely the highlight matchup of, the entire regular split here, as we move into Champ Select as well, so I'll pop us over.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It is the highlight matchup of the entire league before playoffs. And I'm hoping for some spicy plays, looking towards you, Bendix, and you, Ackers. And of course, we have to mention that Viperio have a new jungler, Ed Antaro. Antiro, I should say. So we'll have to keep our eyes on him, see how he'll play and synergize with the team. But from the club tag from the players, I feel like they should have a bit of nice synergy there, because it's just Hart and Ed. So they seem to love their new jungler quite a sizable amount.
That's very cute. I like that. It's very
really nice, isn't it?
Nice and wholesome with the Hearts. Bringing in the new player, they want to give him as much appreciation and love as possible. Definitely would be feeling a sort of honeymoon effect. Although, they haven't really been having a rough time at all, even with Dakin, but bringing in Antero now, he's a really, really strong player, especially within the context of the league. He's played previously within the German scene. He's really, really high elo jungler. The highlight matchups we have for this week are jungle and mid, but the jungle one picked out specifically because Pravius really has a tough matchup on his hands now. Previously when he would have been against, very inexperienced, very low elo junglers, he wouldn't have been too worried about them. But coming up against Antero now, he's going to have a huge challenge on his hands, and this jungle matchup is really going to dictate the pace of the game.
It definitely will, and Bendix is the star mid laner that we want to keep our eyes on as well, and he's into BB Muffin, another star mid laner, so I want to keep my eyes on that matchup. There is a reason why Akali's taken away and a reason why Cassiopeia has been taken away, but they go for the priority onto that. Kaisa will go into the hands of I Love You.
Yeah, and we talked about the Kaisa Xayah Prio last game. It's really, really huge in the meta right now, and if your ADC can't play both, then you're a little screwed. But I know that Aether will be able to play both of those champions to a great effect, so it's good for him to be able to get the priority on that Kaisa, pick it up and have a good showing on it. We see the Lucian and the Sylas also being taken away as well. Pravius has had a really good performance on Sylas, so it's great to see him on a comfortable champion that he has going into this a bit more of a tough matchup. the Lucian as well is a good answer, although it's not, the Xayah that you might expect in most pro play. The Lucian is still hovering around the meta right now. He is still a strong pick, especially in that laning phase.
And it's all about comfort here for some of these players. I think, as you said, Silas for previous comfort champion when you're going up against a rough matchup or someone that might be perceived as being a better player than you. It's nice to be on something that you know really, really well. But Rakan will be locked in for to pair up with that Kai'Sa. Syndra also to follow for BB Muffin. Sympathy Hut in the middle lane.
Yeah, BB Muffin's had some good performances on the Syndra as well. I can't remember specifically what week it was in, but no, I've seen him play it before, and he had, a pretty good game on it. As we spoke about the bans being taken away, the Akali was a good one to take away from him. I know he's got a lot of game time on that, and he's been very successful in the past on it. Good to be taking that flex pick away. I'm sure Ken Ruto has added that to his wheelhouse as well, so it's good to be able to take away that opportunity to them. See Janna being locked in as well. Bit of an unconventional pick, but I know that Satanel is a big Janna player. It's one of the reasons he managed to attain such a high elo back when she was very, very strong. So definitely going for a lot of comfort in this bot lane here for OSP and Satanel. I think that's a good idea. I think OSP and Satanel will be perceived as the weaker side when you compare it to Aether and Munch. So if you're looking to hold that a little bit more, comfort's definitely the way to go.
It definitely is, but with Janna being so low priority and so out of the meta, I'm dying to see how that will play. You said that Satanel is a great Janna player, so hopefully in his hands with OSP on this early game AD carry of the Lucian, hopefully they can get the priority, hopefully they can actually do well against the Kai'Sa Rakan, but continually to target Bendix, we have seen you target Bendix before. It did nothing, guys. I don't know why you're putting such high priority on this. We saw an entire game where all 5 bans were targeted towards Bendix. He's like, well, you just left this other power pick open. I'm just going to pick that up and get the win anyway. So just taking away the Azir just to be sure that they don't have that up against the Syndra. J4 also being taken off the table.
Yeah, no, I think those are good bans from both sides, to be honest. I think while obviously Bendix will have a much bigger champion pool than most, and the Azir being champion ocean more like so the Azir being taken away, I think it's more that they're just scared of the team threat presence that he can have and the high skill ceiling that it has, what you can perform on it. And a lot of these comfort bans being taken away from the players. Ken Ruto, great Renekton player, Antero, great J4 player, and Gnar, Akers is a great Gnar player as well, so a lot of comfort being removed from the side of both teams.
And now the Karma being locked in. Can flex for Bendix in the lane or towards Akers in that top side. Which one would you like to see the Karma going towards? Because obviously we have Janna for the support, so it won't be going there.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on what Viperio lock in here, to be honest, because I think both of them played it. I think Bendix played it one game in the UKEL actually. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I know that Akers is a big lover of these ranged top laners, so that'll definitely be within his skill set to be able to take a range matchup into something and hold things out there and be able to take advantages through that. I think it will depend on what this last pick is here, and then they'll decide, because it'd be better to just leave that up as a flex.
Well, at least gets locked in for Antero, so a good early game AP jungler for him. And if they lock in this,
That's troll.
I instantly thought Hjarnan, but it's a Heimerdinger. Obviously,
I thought Tolium from he's a famous university player, famous Heimerdinger top player as well. But I mean, I have actually seen Heimerdinger top come up a little bit more in solo queue recently. So I mean, it's not as much of an odd pick as you would expect. I think that Click are probably quite shocked right now, so they'll be taking their time and deciding where they actually want to put that Karma. And they've picked the Kled. Confidence coming in there from Akers. To try and show that he's not afraid of that Heimerdinger and how strong it is in that laning phase.
So we have been informed by production just now that the Heimerdinger is actually an Aurelia. So I think that's a bit more usual because they would have been so heavily towards the AP damage if they did lock in that Heimerdinger, because they had the Syndra, they have the Elise as well. So you'd be relying on a Kai'Sa for AD damage, the sole AD damage pretty much in the game.
It's just a bit more boring though, isn't it? You know, I'd have loved to have seen a Heimerdinger in our game. I think it would have been great to see. But No, in fairness, Irelia a bit of a better pick there. Makes a bit more sense that the Kled would have been picked into it as well. We do see Karma going back into that mid lane onto Bendix. He's playing a bit more of a supportive champion again, as we see. Quite surprising they would do that, especially when it's such a high stakes game. It'll be interesting to see Bendix on not on something that's incredibly resource heavy, something that's going to be able to go into team fights late game and really carry it. It's really putting the onus on OSP, Akaz, and Pravius on these more resource heavy champions to be able to take the reins of the game and do what they want with it. But I think if Click can win with this kind of comp and win with Bendix on such a low econ style champion, it'll show a lot of versatility within their gameplay and prove to other teams that, even without Bendix, they're still a really strong team. They've still got great players other than that, and they're still a force to be reckoned with.
Well, they do still have Akers, but what I'm curious about is Bendix has been so crucial to the wins that we've seen come from Click so far, especially with his quirky plays, with the games where he just pops off on the quirky, hits 2 items, and he's basically a god. But now on the Karma, it's a more, as you said, it's more of a supportive role. It's a bit more utility rather than damage, unless he goes for the full damage Karma. But even still, it's not a huge amount of reliable damage. More poke, a little more burst as well. It's not really what we expect from Bendix.
No, not at all. I think it cues into Pravius picking a bit more of an aggressive style jungler. That's why I had this matchup as a highlight one to watch. If Pravius had a good strong showing on the Sylas last time he played it, so I hope we see the same again. I hope that he can prove himself within this matchup to show that he can take on these really, really high elo strong junglers. And if he's able to perform well on this Sylas, which is a great pick in the jungle right now, it'll prove that, if we see Pravius popping off in this game and it's, Karma shielding him and Bendix shielding him and being able to put the support into him and give him the resources and allow him to be able to carry the game on his own, it will give him a lot of confidence moving into playoffs, and it will allow him to think, again, like we said, Bendix isn't just the carry of this team. They have other resources, other avenues available to them to come out with wins here.
And we have talked before about how BB Muffin has been a bit hit or miss in the last few weeks, actually since the start of the league. He hasn't really been showing the level of play that we kind of expected of him coming into this. Do you think that he's going to step up, especially since he's on a Syndra now, a lot of burst damage, and there's a lot of work that he can do with a Syndra. Do you think that he'll step up, or will it be more the likes of Kenruto and Aether to do that damage?
For this game, I would expect so. I think the Syndra can be a great help to the team when they move into small skirmishes, especially with the Elise. I think that's where we'll expect to see things. If BB Muffin managed to really take the laning phase to Bendix, I'm not expecting that, especially in the matchup. But if he managed to do that, great for him. But what I'm really looking for him to do here is take advantage of how strong Syndra is within those skirmishes. Just went like northern then. Within these skirmishes and move with the Elise and how strong she can be. If he manages to get a few kills up there, maybe we can see him have a really good pop-off game. But looking towards this top lane as well, actually, this is going to be a really crucial matchup as well. The Irelia to Kled matchup. I would expect it to go to the side of the Kled with the counter pick coming through. I mean, Akaz has counterpicked. Well, he's had last pick in the past, and he's not picked a favorable matchup for himself. It's the famous UKEL game where he picked something into. He picked like Jax into Poppy or something for against Ego Speed, and Ego Speed just took him down so easily. It was a great fun game to watch. But yeah, I think the bot lane here will be really crucial as well. Aether on this Kai'Sa, like I said, he's going to be able to perform on that champion. He's got a lot of games on it. It's been a really strong pick in the meta for a long time now. And if he's able to perform on it, especially in this game, that's going to be great for him as well.
And also for the Sylas, it's a great game to play into these ultimates because you can take the Syndra ultimate, Kai'Sa ult, Rakan ult. The only one that isn't really that great is the Elise. Everyone else you can really use depending on the situation. So very situational, but great ultimates to take. But towards this bot side, as you touched on, Aether on the Kai'Sa will do really, really well. But talk to me a little bit about the matchup. Lucian Janna, it feels like Sifrit should have a little bit more pressure, a little bit more push, more poke in the early game. But then it starts to fall off.
Yeah, definitely. I will expect the pressure early game to be coming from OSP and Satanel. Satanel, like we said earlier, really will know this Jan and will know how to abuse it in lane and get as much out of it as he can. He's got the Ignite there as well. I would expect a lot of early lane pressure coming out from Lucian Janna into that matchup, so hopefully Click could utilize that with Pravius, maybe moving down in early game to pick up a few more advantages there.
And also the respect coming out from Bendix going with the cleanse, or it could be a spectator bug, but we'll see once we get into the game, because sometimes it does change up with the last few seconds to go. But it's not uncommon to see the cleanse for the mid laner if you're up against Elise or Sejuani, and you're up against a Syndra and Elise, so there's a lot of CC that can come from them. So just playing a little bit more cautiously, a little bit more respectfully if he does indeed take that cleanse.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think if Syndra, one Syndra combo could absolutely destroy you if you get stunned up there, and the amount of CC lock they could have there would be enormous. So no, I think it's a good safe pick to take the cleanse there in that matchup. I think it's him just sort of playing things a little bit safer. No, I think it's a good choice.
We'll be loading into the game in the next minute or two, and if you were a betting man, who would you put your money on for to win this game? Off of the compositions wholly, not off of the players.
Composition-wise, I'd probably give it to Viperia, to be honest. I prefer almost every single one of their picks, apart from maybe jungle. I think Silas is much stronger in the jungle at the moment than Elise, but Elise is still like a pretty strong pick. I would still prefer that comp, I think. If I think about the teams and the players on paper, obviously we've got a lot of history to go with now for a lot of these teams within the league. There have been a few changes around, especially with Antero coming in. I think that's going to be the big difference for Viperio now. But we are into game. I'll just pop us in.
We are loading onto the Rift, and I can say with 100% certainty that the first Drake of the game will be an Infernal Drake. So I am waiting for the fights around that to erupt and the priority to put heavily onto that, especially from the side of Viperio. You want to really help out I Love You or Aether in that mid to late point, so a lot of congestion I should say, will be put around that Drake, and it looks like they're gonna go for a lane invade here from the side of Viperio.
Yeah, they are. They're expecting to move down and through and go through that tri-bush through bottom, maybe catching out the Rakan here. We'll see where he moves to, but we also see... we
On the other side,
yeah,
they're invading too.
I mean, the difference...
there.
Yeah, the difference here is that there are 5 of them here, obviously, and only 4 on the other side. They'll get the vision in the top side, but the bot side, there's a possibility of them taking the kill, but it looks like... Yeah, no, Munch is just going to move away here. He's popped the ward down. There's no difference here. They'll get a nice amount of vision out for both teams, but nothing much will happen or come of it. That's a shame. It would have been really fun to see a 5 versus 5 man invade in our, number 1 versus number 2 team match.
But as you said, crucially, both teams get vision down in the enemy bot and top side quadrants respectively.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what... Oh, actually, I'm surprised. Okay, I'm surprised at this then. I thought Pravius would have started on the top side and tried to move into that bot lane and try and abuse that Lucian Janna strength in the early game. But he's going to be starting up on the blue here, possibly moving in towards an early top gang.
Do you think that it's possible to go for hard leash here, maybe Smite go for a level 2 gang?
Possibly. I mean, they don't have the vision there, so you could maybe try something early game with the Silas, but I'd wait a little bit longer. I think Pravius is smart here as well, actually, to be fair, just to avoid the 2v2. With Elise's strength in the early game, you don't really want to be fighting her. She's probably going to win, 9 times out of 10, depending on what the 2v2 matchup or 3v3 matchup is. But, yeah, no, good pathing, I think, to avoid the Elise.
And now just going to continue the regular clear from both junglers. Go from blue to Gromp to Wolves here. It looks from Antero, and now onto Chickens for Pravius. We'll use the Q just to clear them away a little bit faster and also utilize the passive. So regular stuff from everyone up to this point.
Yeah, no, definitely. And touching on predictions for the win here, actually, going again. If you remove what we've seen throughout the league so far and how well either team has performed, actually, to be fair, on paper now with the change. Oh, nice trade Nice trade coming up from BB Muffin there, actually. But on paper now, I would actually say with the jungle change that Viperio actually, most people would say, you know, you hand out a piece of paper to people, they would say, you know, oh, Vaporio's got the better individual players, but hasn't proved so far. They've managed to drop. They've only dropped one game, but it's still not the unbeaten record that Click have. So it'll be interesting to see how those individual matchups shape up here as well.
And I'm wondering if that one loss, since it was against Radiant, who just lost to Mythos, does that really telegraph anything? Does it tell us very much as to the strength of this roster?
Directed camera, don't int me, something's happening.
Not much has happened. A bit of a chase there towards that top side, but something might erupt with the Relia moving down. But now we do get the directed camera. And we use the Defiant Dance here. Akers take a lot of damage, but we'll trade a decent amount back onto Kenruto. We'll just use the Blade Surge to get away. And yeah, just a nice trade of damage, nice trade of pressure, but it looks like Antero will get the Skull Crab for himself, but will be contested by Previous. Smite comes down from Antero, so he'll be able to pick that up himself. Going in. Abduct. Bendix is nearby. We'll throw a Mantra Powered Q just to get a little bit of chip damage down onto BB Muffin, but all in all, it's in favor of Antero.
Previous is really hungry to be looking for these fights here as well. He hasn't actually taken his ready. Rather move and follow the Elise here to watch her go on to the Scuttle Crab and try and contest that. And it looks like he's shown his aggression there, and he's actually possibly won it out. I don't think Elise is going to challenge it. No, she's not.
Yep, doesn't have the smite to try and steal it away, so just going to go onto her own chickens. And that was a nice amount of damage put down by OSP onto Munch in that bottom side. And Satino will just walk up, make sure that he has the pressure, the freedom to actually take this freely without really caring for Antero to come in and try and contest.
That early PTA damage is going to be coming in quite well for Akers there. Actually, I think a good move to not take the Conqueror within this game. There's not really many tanks that you have on the enemy team, and although there are going to be some sustained fights that you'll go through, I think taking PTA for the strength that he has in laning phase is actually quite a good choice here. You just saw how much damage he was able to put out in that trade. You know, nearly like 60% HP of Kenruto's health was taken away in a very, very short burst there. And actually touching upon that mid-crab walk, although he's managed to take out the crab, the Elise has actually just moved into his red side, and he's going to be taking his red there as well. So that's a very sort of late triple buff coming in for Antero there, but he'll be very happy to be able to refresh that red buff on himself there.
Especially easy for him to do since BB Muffin had the priority in the middle lane. Bendix has a bit of wave clear on this Karma, but not a huge amount at this early stage because he doesn't have a lot of damage with just the Doran's Ring. But Akers will invade and get a little bit of vision down himself onto that blue side quadrant.
Yeah, I'm actually, well, I say I'm surprised. I know the Kled will have a lot of damage within this early game, and he's about to pick up a huge wave here, so that will even things a little bit out. But Kenruto has actually been quite a consistent asset to Viperio so far within the league. While he hasn't been like standout carry player necessarily, he's had a lot of good performances in the wins that they have had. He has been very strong in all of those, and he's proved to be quite a consistent player for them as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup develops into the late game when he might gain a bit of an advantage over Akers, especially with the Conqueror that he's taken in the rune choice.
So far, it is dead even pretty much between these two teams. I think there's just under 100 gold, but Bendix
moving down to the Infernal Drake as well, actually. You see a jungle fight erupting.
Antero will smite down onto Previous. He should be able to find the damage here. Has to flash away, but flashes forward, finds the E, finds the ore. Doesn't quite have enough damage with the flash forward from Bendix. In comes the charge now as well as the Kled will follow through. T-Hun, first blood goes over to the Kled.
Good communication from the team there to be able to call in that Kled ulti, and Bendix flashed over wall. He knew exactly what the team was going to be doing there, and I mean, a little bit of disrespect from Previous there at the strength of an early game Elise there. Has to blow his flash out, but they managed to come out with the win over it. Shame that he had to blow his TP and his ultimate for it, but I think that Akers will definitely be happy to pick up a kill there and inject some gold into himself.
It is quite good for the Kled. He is now sitting at 300 gold above his lane opponent Kenruto. He did burn his teleport, but won't miss out on that much. He'll miss out on I think 4 or 5 CS in that top side, so not looking too shabby, and does push them away from this Drake that could have easily been done if Previous were to have gone down, or if they didn't go for that teleport play.
Yeah, both teams will still be desperate for this early game Infernal Drake, though. They're all hovering around it, trying to just show their presence. Moving on to the blue buff as well, actually, and directed camera, please. There we go.
BB Muffin is there, flash away, but you're not going to get away from the cocoon. Goes in with the abscond abduct. Grumpus just going to help out a little bit, going to get some nice damage down onto Pravius. Just gonna try and steal this away, give it over to BB Muffin. A Mantra Power Q comes out. OSP gonna try and find the damage here. Out comes the Q. Finds so much damage. Out comes the culling to Pravius. A double kill and now a free Infernal.
I mean, it was nice to muscle your way in there, and it would have been a funny stat to say like Pravius in the first 10 minutes has only actually had one of his buffs, but he manages to take the kill and he takes it back from him. He didn't get the gold from it, but I think he'll much prefer the trade of the kill, taking the Infernal Drake down as well. And you know, that's the early presence that Elise has is gone now. I mean, Pravius, especially after picking up a couple of kills here, he's going to be edging closer to that AP jungle item. He's going to have a lot of power in this 1v1 now.
And now 700 gold above the Elise, so sitting pretty in a matchup that we thought was a little bit Antero favored. Vanguard Edge in the top side didn't really do much. Akuz and Kenrudo just reaching level 8 points and just skirmishing pretty much around that top side, not able to find any kill pressure for either side.
Yeah, and although we said Bendix is on this supportive champion, you can see in these skirmishes, in these fights, his movement and his control of the lane. He's always there before BB Muffin is. Although it's been a bit more aggression from Antero, it's always been Bendix that's been there with Pravius backing him up, acting as a two-man unit as opposed to, you know, just a jungler and a mid laner. He's constantly been there backing his jungler up in anything he wants to do.
And 4-0 scoreline is looking pretty good for Click at this point now, edging towards that 1,800 goal difference between the two teams. And your solo lanes are doing really, really well. You're not expecting Bendix on this Karma to be the major carry, even though he is building towards that Luden's Echo, so we'll have a decent amount of damage. Still looking towards Akers and OSP as the major carries.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the poke, if Karma does get fed, is still going to be really, really impactful within short skirmishes and team fights because of how squishy Viperio actually is. I mean, you know, full Mantra Karma Q with...
Hold that for a second. We will find a quick kill onto BB Muffin. Once you have the tether down, once you find the Abscond and Abduct, not much you can really do unless you have Cleanse, but run the teleport, so nothing you can do to try and get away.
Yeah, and we spoke about it mid.
Just action after action.
Yeah.
Tether comes out as well. They just don't want them to take Shelly for any reason. Smite available for both sides, and comes the charge now from the
That's going to be a bit short.
Antero will repel up, but out comes the quickness, and Bendix is in a lot of trouble. He should be going down here. One more auto attack, but he will burn down to not Munch. Munch will pick up that kill, but two will be traded back. Looking for a second one now as Akers. He's in a lot of trouble. He's on the wrong side of the rift here.
They want to try to take him down as quickly as possible.
He should be going down. Just one more auto attacks. One more auto. Please, just get the passive. Just use the Cathian range, pick that up. They're going to pick up a tier 1 in the bottom side as well. Should be able to pick up Shelly, but they're just going to rotate over towards this mid lane instead.
Yeah, I mean, we laugh at how long he managed to survive there, but it's actually really, really good for them. They managed to delay the Herald taking so long that they're able to, the rest of the team is able to respawn. They'll be able to move in there, clear out vision a little bit more, and try things again. A little bit aggressive there. There are a bit of a man disadvantage there for Click, so a bit aggressive. It's a shame that Bendix managed to go down so quickly, but you see Pravius, actually, I think he's on it now. Yeah, he is.
Yep, it has started that off, and it looks like it won't be contested from anyone on the side of Viperio. It's just going to be taken for Click, and since it is pre-14 minutes, they might be able to find something with it, get some extra gold with the tower plates. And there has the map rotation come through from the bottom side, so both bottom side AD carry and supports have rotated towards that top side too.
Yeah, it's a shame there's some slightly poor back timings, not being able to move in and challenge that Rift Herald, but then again, a lot of ultimates from Viperio are also down, so it's maybe not advised that they would go for a fight right now anyway.
Will insta-pop it towards the top side, flash forward, and unleash power will find the damage. Bendix even flashes for nothing.
And it's a good trade. They'll look to try and get some plates in the mid lane as well to equalize this Herald popping. They'll have to send people to answer that, though, because they could push even further. I think they will just take that one tower and back off. They've got the Kai'Sa and the Elise there to protect things now, so I don't think much more would come of it.
There's a huge influx of gold going over into the pocket of Click there. Now, 2,500 gold ahead of Viperio. So, sitting pretty. I love you looking for it to try and take Shelly down before he gets a last charge out, and I think he was successful.
Yeah, and looking to the power spikes of these players now, I look down and I see the Medjais coming out from the Janna. I mean, that's a classic staple item on Janna. To be fair, I mean, it's not like, you know, oh, I'm gonna be getting so many kills, I'm gonna be carrying the game. It's, you know, I'm just gonna sit back, I'm gonna peel for my team, I'm just gonna not die, and I'm gonna get a lot of AP in return for it. And you know, he's already got 3 kills now. I don't think he hasn't got any stacks on it as of yet, but hopefully we'll see that later on.
Previous now has the quickness, will use it, just pops Antero. This could be a second of Feral Drake going over for free now. And they are looking so prepared to take this game.
Yeah, and we looked at the jungle to be a huge highlight matchup within this game, and Previous really showing his stuff there. He's got a lot of synergy with Bendix here, and he's managed to show that in the early game, and he's taken such huge advantages.
And the calling with the piercing light, another 2 kills. Going over to Click, and they're sitting at 4 and 9, 2 Infernal Drakes, 4,000 gold almost ahead of Viperio. So, what do you do now on the side of Viperio to try and come back to this game? Is all lost? You just wait on the scaling?
I think you just have to wait on the scaling from Kai'Sa to come in as well.
Just not gonna let it happen. Double kill now for OSP, looking for a third. And Antero will die, will give it over. Triple kill now for OSP. 8 stacks on that Medjais for Satinel. Kled pushing in the bot side. They're taking tier 1 in the middle lane, looking for the tier 2 as well. They have all the pressure in the world. 5,000 gold, make that 6,000 gold now ahead at 15 minutes. There is nothing that you can do from Viperio at this point. You don't even have Baron spawning yet.
Yeah, I know, and it was almost a dream scenario there. The Irelia got the ulti and the E off, stunning everyone. So many stacks to go through, but she just gets popped. And, you know, almost everyone on that side, the side of Click now, is going to be a huge threat to them. You know, like, even the Karma's going to be pumping out a lot of damage. And I mean, the Janna's now 007. She's got 8 Medjai stacks. That's only going to get bigger and bigger. And with OSP at Satinel's side, with the Lucian, he's going to be really, really terrifying.
Might look for the collapse onto Kled here, but I think they're playing a bit scared at this point to try and do any moves like that. But Kenrudo, I'm not sure he could take the 1v1 at this point. So just go back away here, just play a little bit more respectfully. Rakan is of course waiting in the wings, has the quickness almost available to him.
And I mean, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but if this is like our number one and number 2 team, and this is what the matchup plays out like, Click just look to dominate this league. I mean, they have a really strong early game with the Lucian, and that's going to show now, especially after that team fight and the amount of items he's able to pick up, and they're still going to be able to have that pressure, especially with the 2 Infernal Drakes they picked up now. They're going to have a lot of scaling to add in with that. It's looking pretty dire for Viperio, but there are still opportunities for them. BB Muffin, Sip the T-Hun has been getting some nice solo kills off, and he's been getting some nice gold into his pocket, and Aether will scale on that Kai'Sa, but that's just a sort of waiting game for them now with the Irelia as well.
They find the Sun with the Scare of the Week, but can't find any engage here to speak of. Just gonna establish some of their own vision. They're playing scared, they can't even go into their own jungle at this point. Split push is a go for Akers in the bottom side. It has to be responded to by Kenrudo. He's just gonna play by his tower. Doesn't want to overextend, over-aggress, and be caught out. And
it's good patience from Click here. They're just moving in. They're taking out all of the tier the tier 2 towers that they can before they move on to those inhibs. They know that they don't have the pressure to be able to muscle their way in and just dive for that at the moment. They'll just take the advantages where they can, chip away at these towers every now and then. The wave clear from Viperio is decent in the Syndra, so they'll look to hold out a little bit longer than most team comps would, but it's sort of just a waiting game for the Baron right now. About 2 minutes time, they'll look to try and get as much vision cover of that as possible, maybe look to try and pick something out.
And 1 minute, just over a minute, until the Ocean Drake is spawning, so that should be able to be soloed by Acus towards that bottom side. Just gonna continue to try and oppress and siege in this tier 2. Flaws the Wet comes out, will not be able to find any target, was looking for Previous. Just clear away the wave, just trying their best to stall it out. They still are waiting for Aether on this Kaisa just to scale up and waiting for to hit these Iron Power Spikes. Has that first item, the Mana Immune, looking for to build that towards the more mana. Pickaxe also available, but you have 2 items already in the pocket of OSP. It's looking dire. He has a Kirkshade Shard now too.
Yeah, he's going to be pumping out a huge amount of damage in these team fights, and like we said in Champ Select, OSP and Satanel have, they've played a similar role previously with these picks, and it shows how much of a threat there are in other places of the map. And again, we were saying in Champion Select, if Click can have a strong performance here with Bendix on a Karma and the Kled ulti coming through.
They flash preemptively, but you still get caught by the Kled. Scare the Weak tags onto 3, goes golden just by time as the coin comes out. We'll be able to find a nice amount of chip damage. Kenrudo off to the side. Vanguard's edge comes through. He's looking for a pick. Flash away now from the Lucian, but he should be going down. He picks up a kill before he does. And that's a double kill now for the Kaiser. Repel comes up, but he will have to come back down. And OSP still alive in this team fight, and eventually he goes down. BB Muffin will manage to pick up that kill. Scare of the Week now finds the tag. We'll get the stun. So that's 3 for 3.
What a miracle play from Ken Ruto there. He got so many picks off there and so many stuns and so much damage within that. He has really saved the game for their team there. If they all went down there, they would have muscled their way and taken, one hit, maybe an Nexus Tower, and they would have looked to have taken the Baron almost immediately afterwards. But allowing them to hold themselves in that game a little bit longer. Aether's going to be moving towards that Ginzu's Rage Blade now with the kills he's managed to pick up there, and he's going to be a lot stronger now as well.
A 3 for 2 is as good as you can hope for at this point. You haven't hit even the second item power spike on your main carry of Aether on this Kaisa. You have a second item now on BB Muffin, Sip the T-Hunt on the Syndra, so you're starting to feel a little bit better, but you're still waiting for these item power spikes. You're still waiting for the scaling to engage, but you have to allow for the double Infernal Drakes that are in the pocket of Click.
Yeah, no, you have to worry about it a lot. I mean, this Dragon's completely untested. It's, I wouldn't go and try and contest it anyway, but it just shows how strong they are right now and how much power they have. The objectives are just going to go straight to them. There's not going to be much contestion. They'll have to try and move and get some decent vision on this Baron, because they can't just give that away for free. That's gonna, they have decent wave clear, but when Baron comes in as well, it's not going to be the same, and they won't be able to hold out as well at all.
Just pushing forward their vision now, and Previous gets caught out, will just get knocked up, should be taken down easy peasy. So Johan picks up his 4th kill of the game, and that's the jungler gone, so that's a lot of Baron pressure that is out of the game for the next 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, that's a little sloppy there from Previous, and we've been praising him all game, especially this mid-jungle, but that's going to delay things a lot there, and they'll move in and try and just cover the vision and remove things out a little bit more, but it just adds more time that you have to weigh, and it adds more time that Aether's going to be able to go in, farm, pick up that crucial gold to pick up those spikes, and the same with BB Muffin on the Syndra. Oh, well, I mean, and the Aurelia as well. These solo laners and the AD carry, when they pick up a few items, are going to be, just as scary. It doesn't matter what the gold lead is. When, Aurelia picks up 3 items, Kais gets 3 items, Syndra gets 3 items, they're still going to be terrifying.
Yes, they are indeed, and almost has that more mana for the Kaisa at around 500, 600 stacks there, so slowly edging his way towards that full power spike of the 2 items, and he has 900 or thereabouts gold in his back pocket as well. Back and pick up a couple of daggers, building towards something maybe like a rapid fire cannon or what have you, for to try and pump out extra damage, get a little bit of extra range maybe.
The saddest thing about the last couple of team fights and the kills that have gone over is the lost Magi stacks, really. It's a shame for Satanal. You know, he could have...
He's on 4 now, it's fine. He had 8, now he's 4, it's better than 0.
I mean, it's better than 0, but could have been so much better, you know.
But if we re-establish ourselves in this game, re-examine the state of the game, you're doing well as OSP, 7-1. Now 3 items, so you're feeling pretty good. But you still have the scaling coming out from the Kai'Sa, scaling coming out from the Syndra, and you will reach a point where you're starting to almost be one-tapped. You're being heavily focused by the enemy, and if you're not being really heavily supported by Bendix or by Sentinel, if you get caught out on your own, let's say, then you're not really going to be able to do a huge amount, and it could be the saving grace for Viperia.
Yeah, no, I think that right now is the biggest advantage that OSP especially will have over the enemy team. He really needs to abuse this spike right here that he has, because if he doesn't, as we said, the scaling is going to come through and it's going to be really difficult for him. He needs to have the confidence to be able to go in there and deal as much damage as possible. You know, he's got the shielding from the Janna, he's got the shielding and the peel from the Karma, he's got the Janna ulti as well. He's got a lot of protection there, and he really needs to go in there and do as much as he can. But they are moving on to the Baron now, and looks like it's going to go almost uncontested. They are moving into it now.
Yeah, they seem to be backing away. That's a lot of damage coming out from Bendix there onto Antaro with the Mantra powered Qs. Zihan in a lot of trouble, has to flash away, goes golden just by a little bit of time. Previous picks up the first kill of the fight. Out comes the Vanguard's Edge, will do a lot, but that's a triple kill now for Previous. He flashed early in the fight, but he just mops it up, and they're onto the Baron. Only BB Muff and the Aether alive to try and contest. They will say no, we're just gonna back away, try and keep the scaling going, have to give up the Baron. Yeah,
no, fortunate that BB Muffin did manage to stay alive. It didn't end up changing too much of a result of the team fight. Like we said, OSP is just pumping out so much damage. Previous has got so much gold in his pocket right now. He's going to be pumping out so much damage. We saw, like we said, Bendix, although he's going to be on a more supportive champion, with those huge empowered Mantra Qs, he's still going to be providing a lot of poke damage. And we saw how much damage, you know, half health Munch there when he was walking through and trying to walk up, and there's so much damage you have to be worried about, even on like a supportive champion like Karma. It's just, there's not much you can do.
There really isn't, and now OSP has picked up the QSS, so we'll be able to get away from some of the CC coming out from Viperia, so that's good to see for him. And Bendix will be able to back now and pick up whatever he wants, basically. He has 2,400 gold in his pocket, can finish off his Morello if he wants to, go for maybe a blasting wand, or he actually decides to go for the Fiendish Codex instead. As backers might be caught out here.
Does have to flash up.
Stun.
Nerves of steel there to not flash the cocoon preemptively. Fair enough. I mean, he knew the limits of it. He manages to retain his flash there and retain his life as well, and they'll move in. And I mean, I wouldn't expect people to try and contest this Infernal Drake.
I think he just knows the limits, as you said, of Kled. And this
yeah,
could be a third Infernal Drake. Have to try and contest it.
Oh.
Just a Void Seeker. That's it.
3 Infernal Drakes. Can we have an F in the chat for that one? That's gonna be so horrible. Oh, with the amount of items that OSP has now, the amount of items that Previous has, they're gonna be pumping out so much damage with the addition of this Infernal. It's ridiculous.
And Click are looking so good, even with Bendix on a supportive champion. Yes, he's building full AP, but it's not a Corki that we've seen him on before. It's not an Azir. It's a Karma. And you still have such great gameplay coming from Previous, coming from OSP. You're not feeling weak at all.
No, not at all. And you just saw how big those shields are on the Lucian. He has a QSS now as well. He's also got, well, the magic resist boot's called, I'm inting, I can't remember. Merc Treads. Yeah, I can't see him dying in these fights at all. He's just taking a lot of damage in the poke out there from the Syndra, but ooh, a lot of ultis blown there.
Just trying their best to clear this wave. Trying their best to just get some chip damage down onto the enemy. Now 3 items hit by Aether on this Kai'Sa, so we'll be able to have a lot more damage in these team fights since he went with Runan's Hurricane, so we'll be able to deal a lot more sort of AoE. Oh, look at the damage onto Antero. You are so squishy and weak. You're on Runic Echoes, and that's it. You have nothing in your pocket.
There seems to just be a recurring pattern with Elise players in this league and like not utilizing the champion early well enough and just falling so far behind and then just being useless. I think it's happened like 3 or 4 times now, and Elise has just had zero impact in these games we've had.
Goes in with the killer instinct, but decides to back away with the tether down onto him. Doesn't want to underestimate the damage that Bendix can throw out. If you want to look at the gold graph here, there's 4,000 gold between Previous and Antero.
Shh. That is ridiculous. And we picked
10,000 gold in the hole.
Yeah, we picked it out as a highlight matchup to watch with the new addition of the jungler Antero, but Engage coming in here as well.
Yeah, Monsoon will keep them alive a little bit longer, but Previous will be cut down by Sip the T-Hun. We'll manage to pick up this inhib now, backers.
Great stun from BB Muffin there, managing to get both of them. And I was just about to pat Previous on the back and say, you know what, mate, we picked this matchup as a highlight matchup to watch. But, you know, even with him getting caught out there and unfortunately dying, you know, it's still been a great game from him. I think he can... Oh.
Yeah, Bendix will just be popped there, but he did manage to pick up the inhib, so he didn't die for nothing. We'll be able to just push in this top side now, and Baron will be spawning in just under 2 minutes time, so that might be another objective that they're looking to go towards before they finish off the game.
Yeah, definitely worth. And finishing the point on Previous, highlight matchup to watch. He's proved himself here against a jungler that has, you know, pretty decent comp experience. He's very high elo. I think Previous can leave this game with his head held high. He's shown how much synergy he's managed to build up with Bendix there. The two of them have been running around the map as a unit extremely well together. And he's shown how well he can perform on this Sylas, on this really heavy resource-orientated carry jungler, and he's had a great game.
He definitely has had a really good game, so gotta feel good about that, especially into a high elo matchup of Antero, something that, as you said, it's a matchup that we're looking at because we're expecting so much from Antero coming in onto this Viperio roster as kind of a substitute for Dakin. And Dakin was doing so well for his team, they've only lost 1 game up to now that was against Radiant. So they were doing pretty well.
Well, I mean, I actually think that Antero is supposed to be a replacement for Dakin. But I mean, he's not really shown up this game, and he's not really shown his stuff, to be honest. I mean, hashtag bring back Dakin, that's all I'm saying.
That feels bad, man. If it is his replacement, we'll have to see what the team decides for that. Just trying to push out these waves. The supers will be making their ways down those lanes. Oceanic spawning in the next 25 seconds. Baron, as you said, 10 seconds time.
Yeah, and the amount of super minions going into this mid lane and bot lane here, they should be able to take it pretty well. The amount of vision cover they've got in the gold lead, I don't see this going, you know, any other way other than right in the pocket of Click, nice and handedly. They'll burn it down pretty quickly, and they'll look to take this final top tower and hopefully end the game pretty soonish.
Literally nothing that you can do on the side of Viperio to try and contest this Baron take. That's the second Baron of the game. It should be the one that finishes it. As you said, going to push towards the top side as a 4-man unit. Kled pushing towards the mid lane just to help escort the super minions in. Scare the weak lands. Does a nice amount of damage. Much looking for the engage here, goes in with grand entrance. In comes everyone as in comes the teleport from Actors, but they should take this fight, they should take this win. That's the double kill for the Kled. Looking for more, but the ace comes through for nothing. Nothing picked up by Viperio in that fight. You can't kill anyone at this point. Actors surprisingly tanking, just flashes forward just for the style points, and that will be Click going undefeated into playoffs 7-0.
Big clap coming out there from Click. They've managed to go undefeated within the entirety of the regular season, and I mean, that's our #1 versus #2 game, and to be able to come out there, have such a strong performance shows a huge amount of strength, and, you know, credit to the entire team, to be honest, to be able to have such a strong game there. But looking at the damage graph actually going into it, oof.
And for those of you at home that might be thinking that we're leaking the script or something, for them going undefeated next week, it's because of a bye that they got from the withdrawal of the league. by Lions Creed, so they get a free win there, which makes it that they will go 7-0, which means that they have won all of their games in the regular season.
And I mean, you know, when League used to have the honourable opponent little marker for yourself, I'd definitely be giving that to BB Muff in this game. I think he did his best when it came to it. The team fights he had, the poke that he had, the skirmishes where he did, like we mentioned in the Champions Select, the skirmishes where he was able to come in and have a huge impact. I think he did have a pretty good game. It's a shame that Click just managed to work as such a unit, especially that mid-jungle duo coming in there and having such an impact on the game. MVP vote, I'd struggle to differentiate between possibly Pravius or OSP. I think OSP had a great game, but he had a lot of protection from the Karma and the Janna. I think I'm still going to edge it to Pravius just because of how well that mid-jungle duo managed to act as a unit, especially in the early game against that huge early game power that an Elise does have as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to go with Pravius for the MVP for that game. As you said, the mid-jungle synergy was really, really good, but he was going up against a jungler that we thought would challenge him greatly. And even though he did go behind, he got 3-buffed early. I think that he played the game really, really well for being put behind so early, and for a matchup that we thought would be Antero favored. So I'm pretty happy to give Pravius the MVP for that.
Yeah, no, credit to him and credit to the rest of the clique. Congratulations. We'll look forward to seeing you guys in playoffs and seeing who you choose. I think Viperio definitely have a lot to.
Who they pick,
yeah,
pretty much gonna win.
Yeah,
from what they've shown, they put Bendix on a supportive champion, and they still won. They still hard won the game. OSP only died once. Akers looked really, really clean on the Kled, and Pravius performed really, really well. So I think no matter who they pick, they're going to perform out of their minds.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Viperio definitely have a lot to work on moving into that. But they have time now. They've got a week of the regular season left. Hopefully they'll be able to retain their second spot moving through. But yeah, I look forward to seeing both of these teams in playoffs and seeing if any changes get made. But I guess we'll just move to a quick break then.
We will indeed, but when we come back, I'll be joined by Yamada for Bulldogs versus Absolved. Don't go anywhere.
Goodbye, everyone.
You know it all. It's not that I'm too ordinary, or maybe it is. I know my place in line. The least I can do is tell you it's all fine. I'm always late. You think I'm vain, and I know it, but let's pretend I'm human. And so are you. You fancy shampoo and you make too. It's not that I am sleep deprived, or maybe it is. Keep pressing snooze. I might not win, like you know it all. It's not that I'm too good for this, or maybe it is. I know my place in line. The least I can do is tell you it's all fine. I can't relate. You think I'm cold and I know it, but let's pretend I'm human. And so are you. You fancy perfume and you make too. It's not that I'm too indecisive, or maybe it is. I can't catch all your cues. I might not win, but you're the one I lose.
Close your eyes, seek paradise. Won't change your mind, can't shake the lights. I'll take the chance and roll the dice. I want it all, just for the night. I live it out like I'll never die. I lose my head in the starry skies. Can't chain you down, I feel so alive. Back down, only one way out. I let you run my life. Now you won't get me down. Untamed, guess I lost my mind. You turn me inside out. No one can stop me now. So turn up the light.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final game of the night. And as we saw Viperio being taken down by Click, making Click go undefeated, we have now a lower bracket sort of game. We have Bulldogs versus Absolved. Both these teams sitting at 2 and 3. So whoever wins this will join Mythos and Radiant at 3 and 3, making next week even more of a hyped week.
Yeah,
I'm joined
and
by Yamada. How you doing?
hello. Almost spoke a little prematurely, but yeah, I'm doing great.
Almost.
I'm doing good. Good to be back. It's been a very interesting set of games today.
It has.
But I think this game ahead of us is going to be a little more interesting. This is a very, very important game for both of these teams here. Very important going into the final week. Going to be deciding who actually ends up in the playoffs. So a lot on the line here today.
And there's a lot of room for any team right now to make it into playoffs, which is kind of the cool thing. Because whoever wins today out of Bulldogs and Absolved, as I said, will move up to 3 and 3 like Mythos and Radiant are. And then next week, whoever wins those matchups will make it to playoffs.
Exactly. So
all to play for. Every game counts, as they say in the LEC.
Yep. From this game and the next week, every game's gonna matter for every team, just about. So no team here, no player, no one wants to really make any mistakes. Hopefully it doesn't reflect in the gameplay. These guys still want to go all out, make those kind of 1v5 plays. We aren't in for a boring game. But let's be real, not in Bulldogs. I don't think we're in for a boring game. So
yeah, I don't think it's going to be one where it's a siesta sort of a game. I think it's more clown fiesta than siesta. That's what I'm hoping for. As a play-by-play, that's what I always hope for.
As the play-by-play, I think it's what you always hope for as we get into draft. Especially last week, I believe it was the Bulldog Viperio game that was the game that closed out, and that's a game to remember. Certainly a game to remember, as Kaiser going to be the first ban removed here. No Kaiser here for Gould.
Yeah, early targeting Gould, but it is a pick that's heavily contested. So nice to see that taken off the table. It's been played twice today already, so nice to see something that might be a little bit different.
Yeah, of course. As the entire season comes to a close now, everyone's come to the realization that Kaiser and Zaya are pretty much the strongest AD carries in the game at the moment. So a lot of priority on both those AD carries. Is Silas gonna head to the ban bin? No Silas today.
No Aatrox either, taking that away from Death by Lollipops. And it can go to Thomas in that middle lane as well, a little bit of flexibility on that pick, but I'm not sure if it's really in his wheelhouse.
Yeah,
Just a few more seconds for the next ban to come through. Will be the Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai. It's a little bit of a strange one, considering some of the champions still up and available to ban. Things that come to mind, such as the Yuumi. The Zaya also, of course. If you're Bulldogs, you are on red side, so with the Kaiser ban, you'd maybe expect that ban to follow through, but no sign of it just yet. As just running down the timer for Absolved here. And it's actually them.
Prediction God. Although it's on the other side. But...
yeah, a little bit strange that Absolved are banning out both the AD carries here, but perhaps it could spell a potential first pick on either AD carry or support. So much priority, who knows? Always do tend to see some curious draft decisions, which may or may not be favorable to me, but it does end up producing some pretty entertaining games, as timer is on 0 and we're going to get the Yuumi ban. So like nothing too out of the ordinary here. And Akali is going to be the first priority.
What do you think of the high priority on the Akali? We've seen it a lot in the LEC, especially in the G2 versus Fnatic game.
Yeah, I mean, Akali is just such an oppressive champion right now. So much damage inside of the kit. As patches have gone by, they've just slowly taken out the utility. You know, things like the shroud sort of lasting as long as it does, but payoff for that, giving her a lot more damage. She's a lot harder to deal with as Galio. All right,
it's the second Galio of the day. If that's not a proxy pick, that's the second Galio of the day.
I'm gonna withhold my opinions on the Galio pick just for a little bit. I'm gonna wait and see. What the rest of the draft comes out with here for Bulldogs. It's gonna be interesting to see where this actually goes. Of course, Galio, an old school counter to Akali, so be interesting to see whether it ends up in the support role or if it ends up matching the Akali lane as Talia also the second
That's
knock-in.
A lot of AP.
It's a lot of AP and it's two very uncommon champions. So Um,
They just want to
Alright.
be different. They're like, it's coming to the end of the regular season. We want to just mix things up, look good, maybe show off a bit. Who knows?
you know, we're matching the profile for an exciting final game of the day. So we're happy. We're happy. Odd picks, but we're happy. Badger gonna secure the Sejuani for himself. Just standard, very strong. Can't really go too wrong with a Sejuani pick. Of course, paired up with the Akali and a safe 80 carry pick and Ezreal being hovered here, and I would be surprised if it wasn't locked in. So, ball is in Bulldog's court right now. I would expect probably just the 80 carry response. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe this is Talia Galio bot lane.
Well, Keva for the mid lane, probably with the Galio, although that could go to Sprinter in the bot side for support. We've seen support Galio, which was in the meta for a while, and now Kalista, they're just going full off meta at this point. She's like, what's off meta with Kalista?
What
with
is off
Galio?
meta?
We'll throw it at Talia as well.
Well, if it is any consolation, of course, Gould is known for his Kalista play, and Galio Kalista is a very potent duo, so with the Kalista locked in, it kind of cements in my mind for the moment that Galio will, of course, be going into the hands of Synapse Sprinter. And especially at the beginning of the season, Galio was so present almost every game. So perhaps the duo still retains a lot of his power, but is definitely going to be a peg down as we're going to see the Thresh and the Renekton taken away.
Seem to be thinking that Galio is towards the mid lane, with the Thresh being taken away. They want to make sure that if there's a possibility of it flexing to Keva in that mid lane, that they can just take away any of the other engaged champions that Synapse might be able to run.
Yeah, of course, and Fresh Band definitely does say there's still some doubts for Absolve with where the Galio is actually going, as the Morgana is going to be banned, and now to me that definitely does say that the Galio probably will be going bot, but Absolved really not sold, really not sold, as Rakan's going to be put in the bin. So this pick will maybe give up all of these flexes on the side of Bulldog, but who knows, maybe they've got something in their back pocket they're willing to pick up right here that just keeps Absolved guessing.
And they can just pick their top lane here if they want to, and leave a bit of a
I
more
would,
flex pick.
yeah, I was about to say I'd expect something mid lane here. Just
Talia
something,
could go
something
mid
blind
lane.
that's strong.
Inside jungle.
Alright,
Flex
so-
picks either side.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking at Talia jungle here. Galio most likely going in the bot lane with Kalista, Syndra going into the mid lane, so nothing too strange as Sona being hovered.
That would be
Would-
kind of weird.
I wouldn't do that. That makes more sense. Poppy going to be secured. It's a good champion, especially later on into the game if she can ever get onto Kallista's face. Kalista just doesn't get to play the game. Also, of course, good at stopping the Galio engage, as it does stop the Justice Punch coming through.
We're expecting that Poppy for Death by Lollipops, or
Yeah, of course. Oh, wait. Well,
okay, that's a poor Poppy.
I spoke too soon. Kled's going to be the blind response here. Renekton is banned. Jax is still up, though, and I feel like that's something that our boy Prince of Top be more than happy to play into it, but we'll have to see what he decides to land on as... Ooh,
Or being hovered.
I like this hover. It does definitely put them into a very high magic damage profile, but I still like this lock-in here. So, comps being rounded out here. They're kind of a little bit all over the place on the side of Bulldogs. You can definitely go forward. And certainly a lot of room to kite back between the Kalista and the Talia. But if you're Absolved...
What do you think of this Poppy into Kalista Galio?
I mean, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It really shuts down a lot of Galio and Kalista inside of the lane with the steadfast presence. So it is actually a very smart lock-in. I'm not giving it as much credit as I probably should be. But paired up with the Ezreal is certainly an odd pairing. So of course, Absolved in the spot where they did take Ezreal weren't really too sure what they would be picking with it. And there was no real cemented place for the Galio to go just of yet. So it's certainly an odd bot lane duo, but Poppy will certainly help out a lot in this bot lane.
Definitely will. And I was waiting for the summoners to change once we went into the spectator delay because double teleport in the bot lane would have been really weird. But
That would have been a little odd.
Ezreal's still opting in for the teleport. Kalista deciding to go for the heal. Galio gone for Ignite as well. So they will be able to match with the Ignite, but a little bit more sustain in the lane thanks to the heal.
Yeah. I mean, it's just full priority on just trying to win this lane. I mean, your Callista Galio, there is some scaling on the side of Callista, but honestly, you want to just dominate the early lane. You want to turn that into some kind of snowball. You've got so much mid game here between the Talia and the Syndra. So you really do want to just get this Callista and the Galio rolling, get them out of the bot lane as fast as they can be taken out, and just get them walking around the map so that they can just dominate wherever they are.
So, which team do you like the roster of? Well, not the roster. That's a poor choice of words. Which team do you like the draft of?
Well, if I'm going by a roster,
we're going by draft here, okay, man. Draft.
I mean, Absolve's draft definitely closer to standard. The Poppy pick is a good adaptation, I would say. Of course, I have said, bit of an odd bot lane pairing, but Poppy is going to probably do a lot of work here in this bot lane to keep the Ezreal safe and even potentially counter any kind of engage if Badger's around on the Sejuani. But I would expect the Sejuani's attention to actually be closer towards Kled and the Kali. Two melee lanes with a Sejuani. Typically, you just see a lot more attention paid to solo lanes when they are melee. So I would be pretty surprised to see Badgers pathing towards bot lane early. But of course, it will just be dependent on how they want to play out the game.
But Kled should win this matchup early versus the Ornn. So is Talia going to put her focus towards that top side? Is Badger going to look for pressure there specifically just for the counter gank?
I wouldn't be too sure. Ornn does actually have a lot of damage inside of his kit that you'd be surprised about, but I would still suspect
wounds.
It doesn't do too much to Ornn specifically. I feel like Ornn's definitely a very undervalued champion in the meta at the moment. Of course, he's seen a little more prominence inside of the jungle. I'm not sure if he's made any competitive appearances quite yet, but it will be exciting going into Worlds to see whatever he does. But
not in any high elo region. We have seen him jungle earlier on today.
So there you go.
But
yeah, I would expect.
I don't know any other competitive.
Yeah, I would expect though Talia maybe to pay a little bit of attention to the Ornn just to make sure you can sit safe in this top lane, and then after that, he just needs to be around this Callista Galio. He wants to give them as much safety to just dominate the lane as hard as they can, as well as just as words mixed. Syndra just gonna have too much priority in the mid lane, so you definitely want to keep her safe and pressure this Akali, make sure she has a hard time getting to a Gunblade spike.
So sounds like Talia has a lot of places to be.
Talia does have a lot of places to be. I would expect perhaps either a full red side clear into just walking around top for a little bit, or just pathing straight towards the bot lane. Other than that, Talia will have her hands full dealing with these lanes, making sure they're safe. As her priority will want to be on the bot lane, and Sejuani's early on will probably want to be towards the Kleds. So it will be hard decisions going into this game for Talia.
Definitely will, and it all depends on how Badger plays his side of the game as well, because if he gets a lot of purchase in one of the lanes, then Talia will either have to make the decision to try and stem the bleeding in that lane or put the pressure elsewhere to try and snowball that part of the map.
Exactly, Darkso. You've got it on the head. So I don't know. I'm interested really to see how this Poppy's going to function in lane. Of course, Poppy support is something that
like to see it function.
I think it's going to function pretty well, especially because the Steadfast Presence now does, of course, have the ground on it. So especially powerful now on these newer patches into these champions of dashes, as we are immediately going to get a pause.
There's just a joke in the chat there saying 10-minute pause because XL is playing.
That's a good one. That is a good one. XL Esports.
Yeah. La 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 la.
Oh no. Oh no. Anybody anybody at UKLC finals will know why I'm post-war flashbacks, but
you just get the PTSD. You just stare off into space. You're like, I just can't handle it.
I just can't handle it anymore, Dark Soul, man. It's so loud. The noise is done.
It sounds loud on broadcast. I've been to a lot of finals.
I'm yet to watch the broadcast back, but I bet that was so loud, and I was sat right in front of them too. Oh man, I don't want to go through
Did
that
you get
again.
your hearing
Downstairs.
checked afterwards? You need to get noise canceling headphones.
You know, actually, it's funny you say that. I have been using a different headset with noise cancelling, so my hearing's been a little bit off ever since the Sunday, but it was still a fun event nonetheless. Of course, Fnatic did end up taking the series and the championship 3-1.
Unlike their LEC team, rest in peace.
Oh man, unlike
30 seconds.
3-2, man. 3-2. 3-2 loss.
But we are
We are
into the game.
We're on to live for our last game of the week. Absolve versus
And
Skylark.
looking like probably just the ward being placed isn't quite going to be taken out. So a little bit of information going to be shown here is Fuyu going to get taunted up. Damage onto him as
Knocked back into the wall. That's great. Nice trading of damage, but Gould.
oh, this is potentially
Down.
big.
That's a lot of damage. Synapse is
Yeah.
ignited. Just body
Alright.
blocked from the queue.
Yeah, no flash being forced out by Synapse. That's pretty important because Galio does need his flash W inside of lane. Is a lot of his pressure inside of it, but
Thought they patched
Is it-
out Flash W.
oh yeah, they did, didn't they? Important thing to note for this game, Galio's not actually going to be able to
He
flash
can't
up.
flash taunt anymore.
Yeah, so it's a very, very important mechanic to Galio's kit that they just ripped out of it for... I'm not going to complain. If you can't tell, I'm pretty upset they did it. But
I'm not gonna complain. Your heart is just breaking.
my heart's breaking in silence. But yeah, it does mean, of course, though, that they may be late to lane and miss out a few minions of XP. But junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, both on their respective red buffs and both pathing over to Crux. So no show on either of the information wards that have been placed on either Raptor camp just yet. But sooner or later, we will expect these junglers to reveal themselves.
And it's worth mentioning in that skirmish earlier on that Rescue did burn the Ignite, so less kill pressure in the lane now for the side of Absolved.
Yeah, just for around another minute and a half or so, as Rescue really getting up in Gould's face, and even the Mystic shot landing too on the back end. So Gould's not having a fun time. This is not how you want to start off your Kalista Galio lane.
It's really not, but Rescue feels so comfortable, or seems to feel so comfortable on this Poppy. And it just seems like Prince of Top is having a bit of a connection issue, a bit of lag there, so we'll get back into the game as soon as we can. But he's stepping forward so far, just zoning them away, and they're not punishing him stepping forward past the wave.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to with the way this level 1 panned out, but yeah, Gould really taking a punishing on this health bar here. Already expended his pot too, and it doesn't look like he's running inspiration, so no biscuits to even aid the sustain back up. So he's pretty much just on his Darren's Blade sustain.
But
No
luckily
TP
for
either,
him-
so
Yeah, luckily for him, he has that heal, so we'll help him out in the lane. But as you just said, he doesn't have the TP, won't be able to get back to lane as fast as Fuyu.
yeah, it does give him a little bit of safety in terms of not dying in the 2v2, and of course,
Well,
any kind of
hopefully.
aggression, which is a Kalista lane, so you would expect them to go forward. But right here, we are seeing them be shoved back as... Okay, no, four I saw already in the chat, but we are just being baited.
One team's ready, the other team is still, I think, trying to solve their issues or something. So we'll get back in as soon as we can. But so far, pretty standard. Kled is winning out in CS battle on the top side for the time being. What I would like to touch on, actually, is the summon Airy for the Ornn. Bit unusual.
Oh yeah, perhaps just a lane rune. That's what I'd expect that to be. You do typically see either Grasp or the Spellbook rune taken as the choices. Spellbook, I think, a little more popular towards the jungle role. I feel like something like Grasp would maybe actually even be shunned away at in the Kled lane. In substitution for the Spellbook, I feel like Spellbook just probably gives you a little more oomph inside of the lane versus the Kled. But yeah, Airy, certainly a peculiar
Interesting.
choice, but
Yeah.
probably gives them a little bit of extra damage he might need inside of the lane to trade back and forth.
Do you think that it might be focused on just trying to get poke damage with the Bellows Breath, and that's basically it, really? That's all I can really
Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, you auto attack, Ares gonna go onto somebody, but
Mm,
certainly strange that something like Grasp, which just wasn't taken, or Spellbook, just gives you a little more, you know, flexibility of what you can do. As I'm hoping, Dark Soul,
yes.
I'm hoping that we're gonna get back into game.
That's a double ready, so
That's a
we
double
should be
ready.
getting banned. We should be getting back in. Timer.
They're baiting us.
No,
There's no
that's
timer.
neither team is gonna say we're ready. Well, they say they're ready in the chat, and they're just like, "Are you guys type in /ready?" Like,
You know what? We just leave them to their own devices. They'll be.
sure.
Don't worry. We'll be playing League of Legends soon,
I think
guys.
they're
I promise.
ordering food. Like, there we go. There's the pause. They're
Alright.
just like ordering food online. It's like, guys, what you want? I'm ordering pizza. I don't know.
Who knows? Monday night. Pizza doesn't sound too bad on a Monday.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
Gotta eat indeed. But yeah, I mean, look at this bot lane. Just immediately a big wave being stacked, and I mean, go commit jungle on this Talia is not even here on the top, on the bottom side to give any kind of support right now. He is just looking towards this top side blue, looking to actually maybe get a little bit of an invade on, but
Yeah,
off camera.
though.
he's the one that's being
comes
called out.
down. Yeah, Permafrost should come through. Keva is nearby. Hit this guy. That's a nice flash away, but he will be going down with 5 talent strike. First blood picked up by Thomas.
That was a very peculiar flash.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
Coming out
it.
of going out of go commit jungle, I feel like you're always going to die there, so just hold on to it. I mean, if there is any bonus to that, he does of course get the Akali's flash out, so if he can make a return to the mid lane, you can certainly punish the Akali, but with Sejuani and Akali around, it's going to be pretty difficult to actually make that happen, as seeing a trade in the top lane.
It's a lot of damage actually down at the Prince of Top.
Yeah.
Gets the
Oh.
stun.
Alright.
Trade
This is what I was saying, you can't also disrespect the Ornn's return damage. I mean, they traded just around evenly there, and I mean, you could even say better for Prince of Top does have the Corrupting Potion, and of course if you do dismount Kled, he is a lot easier to sort of to deal with momentarily. But yeah, I mean, that's just gonna trade back. Ooh, misses out on the Brill passive there. Very important to get those procs off inside of that lane. As,
Yeah,
here we
but
go,
mid-
the punish.
mid
Return
lane.
gank.
Throws out the threaded volley. Gets the stun down now. Seismic shove. A couple more auto attacks with the tower will secure the kill.
Yeah, and the red buff even goes over to Kevtar there, so very, very important that ranged champion can have red buff. Of course, is going to give him a little more sustain inside the lane and that extra poke damage. As now we're seeing Talia wrap around the bottom side.
Yeah, no mana for Fuyu. Gets a nice stun against the wall, and Steadfast Presence will prevent the re-engage here, but Rescue has to flash away. Ooh.
I think he's fine.
Seismic shove. So
he's-
close.
Yeah, it was very close. And just right there as well, we saw the power of the Steadfast Presence. Actually grounding Gould, and it's all... That's going to be so jarring to deal with, and it's going to get more... It's just going to get more and more frustrating as the game goes on. Because the ground, I feel like it's even going to... It slows you, too, so your attack speed as Callista just gets lower and lower. You can't even attack. It's
And you're
gonna feel
relying on stacking
so
those
horrible.
spears over and over and over. You're reliant on dashing as well.
Yeah.
So, definitely lollipops. Yeah, really low, dismounted. Prince of Top.
He's got a
Should be able to...
flash.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah, no follow-up, no cooldowns probably available to Prince of Top. That Bellows Breath does have a pretty long cooldown on it, so you can only realistically use it within one trade. As you see Rescue rotating up into the mid lane off his reset. Nothing too out of the ordinary, and we're just going to see Prince of Top take a base.
Gonna be backing with just over 800 gold, so we'll be able to pick up his Bami Cinder if he wants to go that route. Actually,
No, he thought about
He
I
made
think
it.
he should probably go Bammies, but
Some new ground.
opting into a plethora of items, just a whole bunch of small components there.
looks like he might be going Abyssal Mask, or...
I think he's probably going to opt into Tabbies and then Abyssal Mask, is what I would expect here. I don't think he cares too much about the Kled. Just more interested in amplifying the damage of his teammates around him once he does start to group up later on into the game.
He did think of going with Catalyst of Aeons there, but decided to switch
Yeah,
things
oh.
over as Badgers in the middle lane, and comes the teleport immediately as Keva is in a lot of trouble. Permafrost comes through, and will just get the 5-talent strike to finish him off. Prince of Top gets the stun now onto Badger. Out comes the Call of the Forge God should be able to finish off the kill here, and he will. A nice amount of damage coming out from that ultimate. Prince of Top really doesn't seem to care about damage coming from Thomas. Shuriken Flip comes out as well.
I'm telling you,
Trading
Dark Soul.
beautifully.
Yeah, and I mean, oh, gonna have to hold that.
Yeah, but he has the magic shield as well as the heal
Oh,
comes
flash.
through. Flashes forward, doesn't quite have enough damage from the Rend. Rescue now is the target as the Ignite goes down onto Gould, and they're gonna trade flash for flash and heal for Ignite. Nice trading in the bottom side, but so close if you have to kill onto Fuyu.
Yeah, it was... One more attack would have done it, one more spear. But Fuyu in the end ends up not dying as just wave of hands and returning back to lanes for the top laners there. But yeah, Keverman, no fold, Skadwick. No ultimate available there, so no real threat for the Akali, but definitely taking a bit of a beating at the moment as, oh man.
Yeah, they're just gonna pile onto him, and look at that damage from Fuyu from downtown,
Yeah,
knocked
downtown.
against the wall.
Even the Fuyu's even helping out from base.
That was 4 people that got in on that.
That's a 4-man mid.
A kill and
8
3 assists at 8 minutes.
But yeah, I was about to say, I mean, he's probably dead, but Barrage just pretty much seals his fate for sure. As Prince of Top wants nothing to do with these trades at the moment.
He really does not, and it's showing in the CS difference as well. 20 CS behind her, but she pushing him through, finds the taunt onto 1 only because Rescue just dashed through it. Rescue taking a lot of damage, took a tower shot there just for good measure, and they find nothing really in this bottom side. They just get a bit of pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, this is everything that Absolved want right now. I mean, Kalista, Galio just being, like, just held down, not being able to assert as much pressure as they would like to consistently. It just plays into Absolved and what they want to do here, as posturing for a Cloud Dragon,
It
perhaps.
looks like they want to collapse onto Keva. But
Perhaps a rotation mid,
well,
but spotted out as well between wards. And Goku mid jungle is in the area. Not a lot of mana, but of course they don't know that right now.
also able to pick up that blue buff will help him with his mana issues.
Yeah, interesting that that doesn't go over to the Syndra. But hey, who am I? I'm a jungler. I like taking second blues personally. Junglers in the chat will definitely feel that one. But
And then
Mid laners,
mid-laners in the
maybe
chat
a little
will be like,
less.
why don't I get the blue buff? Where is it?
me jungle,
all
me
the blue
me
buff.
second blue. But oh,
Yeah, he's
Cute
just
little
waiting
setup
to
right here.
push, flashes forward, gets the stun onto both of them. Seismic Shove will be
Ooh.
dashed away from. Nice hit against the wall. Rescue, a couple more hits, we'll be able to do it. That's a lot of damage from the True Shot Barrage. Not quite enough to take out the Galio, but nice trading of damage in the bottom side, didn't give up a kill.
yeah, and even in the river there, Absolved are pretty ready. I mean, Akali is already rotating down. On top of that, so if they carried that one, they definitely would have given up their lives and probably a dragon after that too. But actually off screen, what we didn't see, Sejuani is flashless, and so is the Syndra, so I believe that was what was going on. Just somewhere in the river.
It's the haphazards of having direct camera. We don't get to see everything.
Don't quite get to catch everything, but ooh, no dismount. Orn's feeling sad about that one.
Not quite enough. I think it's maybe just under double digits or just over double digits off.
Something like that. Couldn't even see the health bar on the screen, but look at this. Moby Boots early on for Rescue. He's walking up towards the top side, getting vision around this Terrorld, so spells to me perhaps a reset from both these side lanes.
Let's see
Or maybe
back
just
to
some
the-
additional safety for Death by Lollipops in this side lane. I would like to definitely see Fuyu be rotated out of this lane, but it looks like they may just be opting into the same lane assignments as TP says just that.
Well, a lot of teams we see them rotating around the 10-11 minute mark so that they have their bot lane towards that top side so they can get pressure around the Rift Herald, but as you said, not gonna opt into that. But Orin is going to rotate towards his mid lane, Rescue nearby as well. We'll spot him out. Knocked
Yeah.
against the wall.
Potential roam forward out, but who's actually
Reaper's
being
wall
caught here?
comes in. Go commit jungle force a flash out. Res Q there. Badger comes through as well with the glacial prison. Flash away. In comes the Galio ultimate now. Gets the knock up onto 2. Finds the taunt onto 2 as well. But who has the damage? No one has died yet in this engage. Seismic shove knocks him back. That's my lollipop. So low. He finds a kill. He gets the flash out. Prince of Top is now the target. That was beautifully well done. I thought he was done for.
Yeah, I mean, by the skin of his teeth, manages to find the last little attack. Of course, gets extended range when he is demounted, and pocket pistol into flash over the wall out, and is going to lose his life, and he's going to take Syndra with him.
Now 1 and 3. Keva not feeling very happy. I would think in this lane. That's my lollipops.
That's a dead
You
flag.
just get taken down.
That's a dead flag. No follow up on that. No Herald being slide up or anything like that, which maybe would have been a decent timing. Ultimate's being down. Kled also having his TP, so just another way to have perhaps forced out that summoner spell, but just gonna retreat into the jungle for the meantime and just continue farming up.
There was a bit of a disrespect there. He overstayed his welcome towards the top side. He knew he was dismounted. He had no vision of that area, and he just went in, didn't respect the fact that Gokumet jungle could have been there and was there, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, I mean, no real reason to be walking into the tri-bush, I feel. Just probably want to just reset, get back on Skull, but pays for it with his life. He's just getting the bot. There's going to be a reset. I am hoping to see Herald actually be taken down. No team really willing to rotate their side lanes out. As ping spell to me, maybe a little bit of attention towards the mid lane.
Rescue keeps roaming around, trying to find pressure, trying to find picks, and nothing really happening for it. You do have an XP advantage for Fuyu on this Ezreal now because of it. But besides that, nothing really happening with the rotations.
Yeah, and no towers being taken, no neutral objectives either, so we're just in a state of pure lane kingdom from...
It's just a
whichever
Cloud
team
Drake.
wins.
Not a lot of priority being put down on that just yet.
Yeah, you normally don't really like the Clown Drakes too much, but if you just want to be fighting. But the movement speed combat is pretty valuable.
And it's
No
just
team really
steal.
liking it as all.
Look
I think
what
Badger wanted to donate that one over, but look at
I think
this.
so too, but this is a 4-man gank, and Fate's Call will save Synapse there. And now they're just gonna go onto this Clown Drake.
Yeah. Cooldown for cooldown traded right there, and
Or not.
doesn't even seem like we're gonna get a,
No, they don't. They
Dragon
really
startup.
don't care.
They just don't care, Doxel. They just don't. Really not too sure. It would
It
definitely
seemed pretty
give,
free to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, would give more incentive too to actually get Fuyu and Rescue out of this lane, which I feel like they're happy to be in, but don't necessarily want to be in at 15 minutes into the game.
Talia now down towards his bottom side, has Weaver's Wall available if he wants to make a gank happen.
He is, I
Badger
believe,
also
on the
there.
ward. There was a ping on top of him, but they also do know that the Akali is here and primed. Yeah, he is sitting on top of a ward,
Yeah.
so... Badger is also waiting in the wings. This could really spell some danger.
That control ward not in the right space to spot it
Oh,
out,
man.
but that is a great steadfast presence. Go commit jungle very low here. Will be taken out by Badger.
brings top CP.
Teleport, and in comes the Call of the Forge God. That's 2 kills now
on the
going
Kled.
over. That's the 2nd kill for Gould. Looking for more here. Kled should be going down. Looking for the 2nd kill for Prince of Top. He will find it. And now Akali
Gould's in
gonna
danger
try
too.
and clean this all up. Will use the ultimate flashes. Doesn't quite have enough damage. Prince of Top gets the knock up. He doesn't have enough damage, and they find 2 for 3. Favor Bulldogs.
Yeah, and there was an engage coming out of the clear. Weaver's Wall comes in, but Badger, information before the play's made, so he's waiting there in the bush. Gets just almost immediately bursted down. It does take a little while. There wasn't a lot of burst damage between a Poppy and a no item, I believe, before that base, Ezreal and Sejuani.
Yeah.
But he does drop in the end. Prince of Top comes down with the TP. Call of the Forge God, the God picks up 2, and Death by Lollipop's just a little bit too slow on the TP to follow up and pretty much just donates over another kill.
And it looked so in favor of Absolved at the start of that play because they had the information, as you said, they knew that Dokuma Jungle was towards that bot side standing on a ward. So when the play happened from the Weaver's Wall, they were ready for it. They got the taunt, they got the knock-up. They just fizzled out, almost.
Yeah, fizzled out indeed, but if you're looking at the scoreboard right now, look where all of these kills are. 3 kills on the Ornn, 2 kills on the Kallistas. Ornn face checking Poppy, probably wondering why he's there.
Why aren't you in the bot side?
Why aren't you on the bot side? Or why aren't you with your AD carry at the moment? But we're just seeing that's probably not a trade you're happy to take if you're Warlocks.
No, really not.
Nice.
Cloud Break for Rift Herald. It feels like the scales are just balanced really heavily in favor of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, you're gonna have to see where. Ooh.
That's a lot of damage. One more ball might have spelled his end, but they're gonna siege onto this mid lane tier 1 now. And I put the collapse onto Badger here. And
Yeah, Badger's in a bit of
passive,
no man's land right
knocked
now.
off, has to flash away. Out comes the call of the Forge God, will be able to tag onto him. I think he missed with that.
I think he did. Wouldn't have really mattered in the end. He was already long gone. But yeah, taking the trade there for Cloud as Gould. Found himself a Kled.
Looking for the pick here. Bear Trap on a rope will be dodged away from. Rend will slow
He's
him
probably
down
gonna
a
have to
little
flash
bit.
charges really late. Oh no.
Pocket pistol, but there he goes. He has to flash away. Taunt will not be able to find anyone. And he held it for as long as he could, but eventually had to use it. Knocked back, but that's great use of the Keeper's Verdict. Now,
Yeah, it was a Prince of Top. He looks like he's in danger here.
Blade. He should be going down here.
Flash available,
Flash
but
available.
yeah, alright. Oh, rescue. He
I
has
was
flash too.
expecting- Yeah, I was expecting the ultimate to come from Thomas just for the follow-up. That's a flash forward now from Rescue. Knocked back for a great stun with the Sky of the Week. And now it comes the ultimate from the Galio. Just gonna deter them a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean,
Managed to get this hit.
players there just trying to rotate up to that fight. And Thomas finds himself an Ornn in the river and nearly takes him out, but the support of Bulldogs does come in time as Herald gonna charge into the mid lane tower. I feel like they maybe could have held on to that one for a little longer, but
There was a 2k gold lead in favor of Absolved earlier on, and now that's dwindled down to just under 400 gold advantage, so not looking amazing for them, but they still have the scaling options. They're still doing relatively well. 3-1 now for the Kali. They have Ezreal, which will scale really well. But then on the other side, you have the Syndra that just can one-tap anyone with the ultimate if you can get it down.
yeah, and I mean, Absolve gold in most of the right places, especially, of course, the Akali. I believe last week we did see an Akali. I'm trying to remember what game it was. Click, I believe. It was Click, but it wasn't Bendix on the Akali. Who? Anyway.
Akkers then? If it was
Wasn't Akkers, no. It was the team playing, it was NSG's mid lane. I want to say, rest in peace, DFG. Had an absolute stellar performance on the Akali. Did end up losing anyway, but he was the shining light in that game. And Akali, you give her any room to shine, and she will pull you through. So, gonna have to see about the execution.
So far looking like the hard carry for Absolved in any case. 3-1, building towards, well, it could be almost anything. Can go with the Moral Nomicon if she wants to as well. I'm not sure if it's the right option, but a lot of players picked that up anyway.
I'd say it's probably not the right option here. You've got better things to build. I feel like you probably want to opt into a Leandries here. Just offers you more, and I mean, any fans of LS will know.
Yes, that's I was going towards pushing towards
Any fans
that.
of LS will know.
You want to go to Leandries because of the percentage health damage as well against Prince of Top. So
Yeah, but it's pretty good, I'd say, here in this game. And I mean, Morello's not really offering you too much in terms of the health reduction. I mean, Gould with a heal and his Blade of the Ruin King lifesteal is not really anything you're building the item for as Badger. I mean, he's got a lot of HP to work with, but he might be in trouble.
no mushrooms available
he's in
for
trouble.
this match. He just knocked back out. Ultimate
Okay.
flash forward just for to secure the kill.
I thought that was Sejuani's flash, but
Yeah, good Steph's presence, but Taunt will come through, but not onto anyone. Nice amount of damage onto Rescue. Not feeling too tanky with just the Glacial Shroud right now. Especially with the amount of magic damage coming out from the side of Bulldogs.
Indeed. Speaking of damage, I mean, Absolved, no slouch. No slouches either. Ezreal's now his 2 item spike, of course, the Manamune and the Frozen Fist, so he's feeling pretty good right about now. And another thing that we've not really touched on too much as Ornn hits his first upgraded item as
Frozen Fist.
Yeah, Ornn's gonna start giving his teammates upgraded items pretty soon. It's a lot of gold value to be giving over to your team, especially when you're not the ones that scale, but I'm gonna hold that point.
Knocked against the wall. Steadfast Presence will prevent him from trying to get away. He comes to Weaver's wall now. His Rescue is trapped on the wrong side of it, and Gould will secure the kill. And, tried to predict it, but couldn't quite get it. I think he would have gotten it if he predicted it correctly.
Yeah, I think that's how predictions normally work, but
No, I mean it would have gotten the kill.
right. Okay. I'm following now.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a little bit odd. I mean, Rescue was just walking along where the wall was before it had been placed. Could have probably saved himself, if I'm honest with you, but who knows? Last game of the day, maybe he's feeling a little bit tired. Yeah, getting on in the day now, I believe, but certainly a little bit of strange movement does cost him his life as Ocean Dragon now. No real exciting dragons for the last game of the day here.
No mountains, no infernals.
It's sad times, but we do have an Ornn.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the upgrade for the Luna's Echo to come through.
Yeah, of course. If Syndra does opt into the death cap, he also can give him an upgraded death cap, so maybe holds out for that one. I would probably expect him to give an upgrade first towards Gold and then probably to Leah. Of course, Gold 302, 300 gold bounty. He's already 2 items. He's looking towards his 3rd item, which at the moment it looks like a Hexdrinker, which nothing too out of the ordinary, especially with Akali on the Rift.
Want to try and survive the burst damage that can come out from Thomas there.
Indeed. As long as he can keep himself alive and Akali's not finding picks, Bulldog are happy. But on the flip side, if you're Absolved, you've got to be looking for these windows. To be laying down some vision to catch out people in rotation here, as a lot of this team are definitely vulnerable. I mean, Gould, especially Talia. Go commit jungle here on this Talia is so vulnerable to an Akali. Especially right now, no flash. Gould on the Kalista. Same cooldown, give or take, so. He's at the moment grouping up with his team, no teleport to be had, so there's certainly odd lane assignments going on at the moment, as Ezreal's top at 24 minutes and Akali seems to be mid and not on the side lane.
Yeah, putting the Ezreal against the Ornn in a solo lane is a bit
It's
weird.
dangerous stuff. Dangerous stuff, but
Can, however, try and kite him away, so maybe that's one of the reasonings. Want to give him solo experience, solo CS in that lane as well, but he will be making his way onto the Gromp now, just for a little additional gold.
yeah, and it's a good thing that LS doesn't know about the UKEL right about now, because
I told you it was building towards a Morello. Even if it's the wrong item, it's gonna be picked up. It always does. At least it's not Kaisa with Morello, it's fine.
oh god, don't remind. Alright, I'm removing that from my mind as we're seeing it engage on screen.
Yeah, in comes the charge, Seismic Shove comes out as well, in comes the Galio ult, but is it enough? And this is a 4 versus 3. Gould should be going down here, knocked against the wall, shut down Gold, does go over to Badger. Out comes the call of the Forge God, Gold commit, jungle is not meant for this world. But Flip gets used, not use the re-engage.
Yeah, and as things stand, it's a 2-for-1 for Absolved, but
Yeah,
that
looking
might
to
not stay
dive
the
it,
same
though.
for too
In
much
comes the
long.
taunt, but they have to focus this tower. It is focusing onto Badger. That's a flash forward. Looking to go even more aggressive. Out comes the Permafrost just to stun him up. Do they have enough damage? He's so tanky with these 2 items. Thomas is taking a couple of tower shots for no reason. Jerk and Flip did go down onto Prince of Top, but you don't want to be diving in Ornn at this stage.
Yeah, and I mean, just look how comfortable Fuyu is just walking forward right now. He's so strong. 245 CS at the moment. No kills to his name as of right now, but still, nonetheless, certainly dishing out damage. And Absolved definitely happy to walk away from that one. with their tower and 2 kills, and Ocean Dragon in their back pocket too.
Now the gold has evened up quite a lot there, even with the couple of kills going over to the side of Absolved. Just under 1,000 gold now the difference.
Yeah. Not
Upgrading
too
Lair of the Rune
much.
King actually to the Might of the Rune King for Gould.
Yeah,
there,
so this is something we also need to talk about, the actual gold value of these items. Now, I don't know them off the top of my head. I'm not quite 5-head enough for that, but that gold lead at the moment, I mean, it's negligible anyway as it really like stands, but upgraded items definitely do give their value, especially considering they're free. That's how it works. So you'd even maybe argument to be made that Bulldogs are kind of in the lead in terms of items, in terms of their value. We are finally seeing the top laners in the bottom lane, but Prince of Top doesn't have TP at the moment, so maybe a little bit of abusing to be had as we do see Kled rotating over, but Prince of Top, he knows his stuff. He's gonna meet him in the blue side jungle.
Yes, he is in fact the Prince of Top, so he knows his realm. He knows where everything is. And
He knows his
where
kingdom.
everything
It doesn't
is
matter
like.
what time of the game it is. Charge coming through.
Yeah, knocked against the wall, flash away, and they're onto Gould here. In comes the Weaver's Wall, but the Glacial Person will match it. Death by Lollipops is underneath the tower, knocked back by the seismic shove. Will secure the kill onto him, and can't get the secondary hit on Call of the Forge God. We'll be able to find the re-engage there, but that's beautifully well done. They went for the fight, and they lost it.
There's a good timing on the seismic shove there, and feels like the past couple of elements that Death by Lollipops is he's charged in to his death. So this is about the extent of his oh no.
Yeah, just caught out here. You can't do anything 1v1 against Thomas. You just go forwards with the ultimate there. Yeah, finds the stun.
no, he's dead.
Oh,
No, he's
yeah,
not even
No,
dead.
wait, he
Oh,
flashed away.
no.
But flash forward by Synapse as well. Might be able to secure the kill on the backside, but Gokumet Jungle picks up the kill under Rescue here. Badger buys a little bit of space, a little bit of time by going golden. Gokumet Jungle is now the target there. Badger so insanely tanky that he survives for such a long time, and Galio managed to take out the Akali. In he comes with the ultimate, now forced to flash out Fuyu. It's a very
What's
split
going
fight.
on, Marcel?
That's by Lollipops. He's still there. Forced to flash away out of Go Commit Jungle because he's just too low to try and fight this now. They're running away from a 3 versus 2. It comes to Call of the Forge God. Will knock him back, knock him up, take him out. Go Commit Jungle gets the kill credit. And now Fuyu on the wrong side of the rift.
I'm lost for words. That felt like an extended fight off the mid lane scuffle, and for you, I mean, hold on.
Yeah, he should
No,
go
he's
down
dead,
here.
right?
You know he's dead.
Yeah, all right. No.
Stolen away by Synapse.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Kill stealing support, so bloodthirsty.
Hey, he needs the kills, all right. He's hungry. He's got 2k in his pocket right now, all right. He's working on his next item box, so you
How are you
leave him
gonna say
alone.
he's got 2 kids?
He's got 2k. He's trying to put food on the table for his family, all right. You leave him alone. But
He's got a wife and children.
wife and children. But yeah, it still away that kill from Gould. Gould's probably not going to be too happy about that. It was a shutdown too, so Gould probably would have wanted that in his back pocket, but nonetheless, still does manage to finish up his item in the Maw of Mount Morpheus. So a lot more safety now into the Akali, as the Akali is opting into a death cap third item. I would have maybe expected a Zhonya's or a Void Staff, but just wants the raw numbers at the moment, so.
But as you predicted earlier on, it is the Rabadon's Death Crown picked up now by Keva. So
Yeah.
that will give him a sizable amount of extra AP.
Indeed. Talia doesn't quite yet have an item to upgrade, as
Call of Forge God, Rescue.
doesn't even matter, he's just dead. He's just dead. Level 16 Syndra, of course, does have
Yeah,
the
2.5
Death
items
Crown.
Syndra is pretty good.
And of course the passive. I can't quite remember the specific number, but Ulma is a lot more powerful once she does have all 3 skill points in it. And look at this. They should have knowledge that they're not actually on the Baron right now. Between the ward right there, you see, and the Skull Crab.
They're gonna start off on the Baron though.
Oh, look at this. This is a Worlds level. I think I've seen this in years gone by.
They're pretending
To be on the Baron. They're just gonna
so
turn.
Well done. Fate Skull comes out now, looking for the engage. Here gets the taunt down onto Badger. He should be caught out. Will flash away. Gonna try and look for the follow-up. Justice Punch will connect. Badger in a lot of trouble here. Has to try and charge to safety. Synapse now the target of Fuyu, taking a lot of damage there. They don't find a pick, but they find some pressure.
Yeah, and that was certainly pretty cute there. Bulldogs just pump faking a Baron startup right there. And Bates absolved into coming in. Doesn't necessarily get them kills, but at least gets out the charge. And now for reals, they are actually taking the Baron, and it's going down pretty quick.
It's going down so fast. They have to turn from this though. Call the forward shot connects onto 2, gets a knock up onto 1. Has to try and find something here. Knockback with the Keeper's Verdict will buy some space, but look at the damage. Synapse just gets melted. That's why Lollipops takes out Gold. They took this fight, but they're losing it. They find 2 kills now in this game, in this fight. This Keva will be the target, will be taken down. The triple kill now by Death by Lollipops, and they lose 4.
Yeah, and the Absolve say you can do your pump fake Baron into a real one, but we don't care. We'll just walk into the pit and run you down.
Don't even have the jungler with them. Just gonna take Res Q out here. One more hit. Electrocute will do it.
He's got room to actually stop this, yeah? Look at that! Oh no. Oh wait.
What?
No.
How is this even No. Okay.
No, they can't do the Baron now. But the seismic shot finishes off Badger there. He actually goes through the unraveled ground, I want to say the Eon Talia's called. Caster, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, he does so well there to stop.
You know?
Oh, there you go. Ah, thank you. I need, I need it for sure. But absolved. Baron attempt being forward there. Go commit jungle doing just about as good a job as you can do, and it looks like Synapse Sprint are going to be the first one into the river to start clearing out the vision again.
But these fights are so back and forth. It felt like Bulldogs should have won the first fight, and then they lost it.
Do you know what's crazy to me?
Just got traded back.
A Baron hasn't been taken off the map yet, and we're 34 minutes into the game. We're 34 minutes into the game, Doc, so hold on.
This is the battle of three teams.
Yeah, I mean...
Both have 2 wins, 3 losses. They're looking to match Mythos or Radiant. It's all to play for, Yamada.
This is about as hype a game as you can get for a match like this, and everything it means for the standings, so... I'm happy, I'm sure you're probably happy doing the play-by-play right here, and... I mean, if you're watching this and you're not entertained, then I'm not sure what else to say to you.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? But we are going to see one final Cloud Dragon spawning up. Just 10 seconds shy of the Elder Dragon timer, so... A little bit interesting that Bulldogs maybe don't opt into taking the Inferno a little bit later. I can't specifically remember the circumstances anymore because we've had so much back and forth fighting, but does mean one more dragon will spawn and no Elder on the map for at least another 7 or 8 minutes. Just depends on when these teams decide to pick up this dragon.
Are they going to fight over this Cloud Drake though? I feel like they will, but I feel like they shouldn't. You know?
You know, you would be right. But you know what I feel like these teams might just do? I think they might fight over the dragon.
I think they might fight over it. I think so. Salvation now picked up by Synapse. That's the upgrade of
Redemption.
A support item. Redemption. Thank you.
I got you. You helped me out. I helped you out. We're good. Oh, all right. Okay. Off screen.
Okay, you just soloed it.
Up the Cloud Dragon. No real pressure on the bottom side of the map. All the attention is on the Baron. So cheeky little sneak away there, but we are seeing an engage now.
Yeah, call him forward guard. Weaver's wall comes out as well. We'll just buy a little bit of time and cut him off. Badger now the target. Out comes the ultimate from that Ezreal. Knocked back 2 of them, but they get 2 anyway. Bulldogs can go onto the Baron. They took down the jungler.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think the camera quite caught that, but I sure as hell did. Kev just flashes over the wall, Sky of the Weeks, and presses the R key on through you, and he dies. Nothing else. I don't think he
just skill.
Full HP.
Just skill.
Just skill. That's definitely correct. But those 2 are in the grave, and so's the Baron, and it's in the pocket of Bulldogs. So Bulldogs, all the agency in the world now to do what they want. Be interesting to see where they put their lane assignments. I would actually just expect them to maybe sort out the side lanes and then just group up together as 5. I wouldn't really like to see any kind of split up or 1-4. Just set up the side lanes to slow push and then react together. I would say would probably be the best option for them, but see what they decide to do.
Looks like they're going for a 4-1 here with 4 members in the middle lane and their Ornn in the bottom side.
Yeah. In the meantime, hopefully Ornn just clears that wave and actually walks up and lets the bottom wave stack up. They siege one wave towards mid and then rotate towards it, but I'm talking a lot of 5-head macro here. And Death by Lollipops is already rotating bot, so Prince of Top does decide to stay down here. I would actually like to see the rest of Bulldogs rotate down just to get rid of this last out turret. But go commit jungle. Okay, he's just hitting the plant. He was on a bit of a journey there for a second. I wasn't quite sure. Looking at the minimap, of course, where he was going, but we do see Bulldogs now finally rotating down. This tower is just going to get secured. Absolve nowhere to be found. And oh, look at this.
Talk about
Wait a
that.
minute.
Yeah, they're onto Keva. Charge seemed to have been cancelled there.
Yeah.
Golden, and comes the Galio ultimate as well, just to buy a little bit of time. Keva, can he get out? Scary of the Week come through, but no, the shutdown comes through as well for Thomas.
Oh, look at the bot lane. They're just taking bot lane.
Bottom side.
Oh, man.
Taking down. They're gonna look for more. They have Baron powered push.
And if you're absolved, you're not really too happy. I mean, you pick up Keva. I mean, there might have been there was a shutdown. There was only 150 gold, and of course the Galio too. But at what cost? The cost is the inhib at the bottom lane, and now it's just gonna give Bulldog the freedom to just sit in these last 2 lanes and just slowly chip away. So much left of the Baron to around a minute and a half. So they've at least got 2 or 3 waves to play with. So there's definitely danger here to lose a little more HP on the towers.
And even though in decent position at this point to just rotate around the map, go for pressure top lane, and maybe pressure mid at the same time, go for the end then.
Yeah, makes sound sense, but we've seen a lot of fighting this game, so something else might play out somewhere else. We'll have to see. But at the moment, it seems like not too much is going to be done with the remainder of this Baron buff. Is just going to time out pretty soon.
What time are you at? Because my game just froze, so I'm at
Oh.
39, 34, 39, 36.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at 39.40.
Okay, I think
41,
I'm a
so you're good.
second behind you, but
It's,
I don't think a second will make that much of a
I
difference.
don't think it's the end of the world. Not too sure. I think we're fine for now, but hey, I mean, scuff reduction happens.
EU production, it's okay.
Yeah, EU production. Yeah, EU production.
Now 40 seconds until that Elder Drake spawns, so that will be the next contestable neutral objective.
Yeah, and, I mean,
Time for a camp here.
just look at the mini-map, man. Bulldogs just got complete control of this. Badger just charges forward, says hi, and then decides maybe not to press his R key. Yeah, he's not feeling like engaging right there, but ooh.
They're just waiting in these brushes,
at
waiting
this.
for someone to push past around.
The seismic shove there, that could have been a lot more damage than Gokume Jungle was actually flexing there. And an interesting pickup I've not really noticed until just now, the Twin Shadows, but not really a factor as we're seeing an engage.
Charge comes through, Keeper's Virgin knocks back the Galio, but looking for a further engage, Unraveled Earth will pause it just a little bit. They are onto this Elder Drake, of course, with the Ren stacks building up. But Gokume Jungle's on his own on the other side. Unraveled Earth, I mean, Seismic Shove knocks them back, but he'll go down anyway. Gold finds the first kill of the fight for Bulldogs. Synapse on the side goes Golden just to buy a little bit of time. Death by Lollipops has the GA as well. You have to kill him twice. Flash away from the Galio just to try and get away. Fuyu takes down Keva. And you seem to have split the fight 2 for 2 so far. Neither team get the pressure onto this Drake, but look at the base. You have to respond to the push from the super minions.
Yeah, and that fight was pretty split. Gould actually had his attention on Badger, and well, Badger, I should say, had his attention on Gould, and Gould had to respond. And it meant Gould couldn't be hitting Death by Lollipops right there once he was demounted to try and execute him. So, gets the remount and turns the fight back in Absol's favor to at least prolong this game.
We're prolonging it for a long time, my friend. 42 minutes in. And we're on the first Elder Drake we've had, I think, the one Baron taken.
Yeah, and it's crazy to think of all the fighting that's gone on in this game that only one Baron has been the end result here. And, it is going to be spawning here in a little over 10 minutes? Ah, right,
10
yes.
minutes, 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, the Baron dance was well over 10 minutes, so maybe that's where my mind was at, but both these objectives now are going to be on the map for these teams to posture for. It's going to be interesting to see who's got their priorities where.
Full items starting to be picked up by the AD carries, and by the mid laners too, just have one more item slot available for them. They are onto the Baron now. Remember, rend stacks do 50% damage than they used to. Wall comes out just to try and buy a little bit of space. Badger just Arctic Assault's over. This is the fight to end the game. Potentially Gould picks up the Baron for his team. And that is another kill going over to the Kali. Kled picks up one as well. Death by Lollipops is unstoppable. Badger just about surviving with a sliver of health. But Kali on the backside going to try and do his damnedest. Prince up top just about going down.
Gould's got to get out of the pit.
GA.
She's
Still
gotta
a
get out of the
GA
pit.
on Death by Lollipops.
Oh.
They just take the fight. That's the ace.
Yeah, and I mean, now it's Bulldogs getting something off the map, but at the cost of their entire team. No Baron buff to be had, so that does mean that there is only now going to be one neutral objective on the map for both these teams to scuffle over. But again, what a scruffy fight here. It is Gould in the end that picks up the Baron with his Rend. He has so many of the spears inside of that Baron. Just executes it by himself. No smite, I believe, to even be had by either jungler. So does pick that up for himself. But Badger is just so tanky. Gould has to commit so much time just dealing with Badger being on his face. And even right there, Synapse Sprinter was in the pit with him. Could have helped him out, but had to use the ultimate to provide pill for somebody else. I'm not quite sure who he ended up using it on, but I mean, Gould was
They
in the pit
didn't
by himself.
even get the GA off of Death by Lollipops.
Did they not?
They didn't even get the GA off of him. They got the dismount, and then he remounted. Then
Oh, man.
dismounted again, I think.
Oh man, you know, Death by Lollipops had a really rough start to this game. And, you know, I made a comment that it's something along the lines of he's just charging to his death. But I'm gonna have to hold
Speaking
that
of charging
joke
to his
because
death, Glacial Prison will connect. Keva goes down. This should be the team fight, hopefully, to end it for all our sakes. But no, they can't find the continued engage. They are onto the Elder Drake, though. Gokuma Jungle's still alive.
yeah, no
They
follow
still,
up.
have it. They still have tier 2s in top and mid.
Yeah, it is still
Still
on the
have
map,
tier
though,
twos.
so still on the map. But I think Syndra being dead, being such a powerful member of the Bulldog lineup, it does mean Elder Dragon is gonna go down. And so are finally gonna get a powerful objective for themselves. And a brief sigh of relief. We are way beyond the point where gold even matters at this point, so 3k deficit for Bulldogs doesn't really matter, but what matters is this Elder buff. How much Absolved, of course, can get off this. Immediately, it does seem like the tier 1 mid lane tower is going to be the first answer, and I mean, realistically, probably the second one too. Could have thought just to dissuade a little bit of the push.
It took 45 minutes for it to get that tier 1 tower in the middle lane. 45 minutes to get the tier 1 tower in the top lane.
Docs are trying, okay?
Are
I don't
they?
need this screw in here.
No
They don't need
way!
this screw in here right now. Hey, look. They're getting their second tier 2. Wait.
Definitely a lot of
like
thoughts
two
to the
more
bottom
autos.
side
Wait.
as well.
Alright, next minion wave. Next
We
minion
have
wave.
enough waves clear here.
Oh, wait. Rescue's
After spot
tanking.
by Definitely Lollipops. Looks
Yeah,
at
and I mean...
top.
Oh my! Rescue's dead. Alright.
Oh, not as tanky as you think you are, my friend, but Thomas almost went down as well. Death by Lollipops. Gonna just take the Grump.
He's chilling.
He's full
He doesn't
build.
need to be. He doesn't
He's
need
taking
to be
Grump.
bottom tower. Nah, just-
Hmm.
no, he's okay. Shh. We don't.
I don't know what I'm watching you, Anna. I
No,
actually
no,
don't.
no. He's alright. No, no, no. He's just it's for his pot, alright. He's just picked up his pot, right? I'm sure. Like, don't worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, I mean that Poppy just gets well popped. It's not your top lane Poppy. It's support, and I mean on top of that, the damage did come from the Syndra. You look at the inventory of Poppy. What doesn't she have? Magic resist. So no real surprise that HP bar just gets melted through. But we are just seeing. Ooh.
Yeah,
He's gonna be safe. Yeah,
just a little bit.
I would actually wager that. Oh,
I think he could probably go in on that, and he's gonna go in now with the charge, and yeah, Galio's just gonna be locked up here with all of the chain CC. Redemption comes through as well on both sides. Here comes the teleport now from Prince of Top.
just came from the bottom lane wave. He wasn't actually that far away, but hey, you know, if they carried on fighting, it would have been a good flank. But fight was disengaged on both ends, and where was I now? Back to it. I don't think Death by Lollipops is gonna die again in this game unless his team loses. I would say that's actually the condition for Bulldogs to win this game, is Death by Lollipops actually needs to die.
I would wager that you are right, and they get the stun, but that Lollipops is gonna go back in. He has the GA still available, knocked against the wall from the Poppy. This is a split fight, but Galio goes in with the ultimate, gets a knockup onto 2. Badger, so tanky, will find the first kill of the fight. Thomas goes just by a little bit of time. Gould picks up the first kill for his team. Puts the top now, trying to chase onto Rescue. He should be going down. Look at all of those stacks. Double kill now for Gould. And Death by Lollipops at half health. He's dismounted, but he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, he's high enough from the mountain bar there to just almost immediately get it back. So, I mean, like we said just before that fight kicked off, they just need to kill him. He needs to die. There's no two ways about it. I mean, this guy is an absolute monster right now, man. 50 minutes almost into the game. 49 on the actual timer, but looks like a rotation towards Baron, at least to probably just get some vision, some security around the area. Pick up the Skull Crab.
I feel, and it's been reflected in the Twitch chat, that the Twin Shadows is a bit of a question mark, and you should probably be picking up a Rabadon Zetka.
Yeah, I mean, you either want damage or you want the Zhonya's to just not die. You need something, man. You need to either be dealing enough damage that it matters whilst you're alive, or you need to have a Zhonya's for it to actually, you know, be impactful, keep you up, and in these fights. So I'm not too sure where the... I'm hoping, as we go slightly later on into this game, as Baron, of course, picked up by Absolve right there, we saw on our screens, that he does end up selling this Twin Shadows for a death cap, because, I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's getting too much value out of any seismic shoves, or...
I mean, I'm seeing him
Unravel
using
Dust, he
it,
does
but
fine.
he's using it within the team fights just to get a slow. It's not for chase down or for
Yeah,
trying
it's
to engage.
not really that impactful here, and especially like you said, the way he's using it. So definitely peculiar how he's using it. But we
Maybe
do digress.
He's valuing the 10% cooldown, but
But you can find that as well.
you can.
So kind of lost.
I don't play Talia, so
Do you know what he kind of doesn't need?
Twin Shadows.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, the Twin Shadows, yeah. But do you know the other item in his inventory? I feel like he probably doesn't need
The Banshees, maybe?
the Morello. I don't
The
think he
Morello?
needs-
Oh yeah, the Morello!
I don't think he needs the
I
Morello.
don't even see them anymore, they're just there!
They're just there in the inventory. Oh, that's cute. Face cool.
Yeah, it's a good
Out
face.
of the
Knock up on
Poppy
the
over, and it looks like Poppy's gonna die.
Yeah, I should die here, just quick and easy. Redemption comes down, won't be able to do much.
Yeah, fast hands from Gould. That was actually really sick. Just plucks him out of the air, says, nope, you're still my support. Not today. The Res Q pickup does mean that Bulldogs have first entry into the second Elder Drake spawn.
But look what Death by the Lollipops, he's pushing the top
Oh.
side as much as he can.
What?
Pick up the bird, now looking for
he's-
Oh, he should be dead. Oh, he does have a flash forward from Kevin!
Ah,
inhib. He's onto the inhib.
Wait, he's on the Prince of Top's still here. All right, it's to secure the dragon, but at what cost? At what cost? We're gonna have to see. No 50-50 to be had. Of course, Callista is still a champion that's insanely good at securing these neutral objectives, but top inhibitor gonna be traded here for this Elder Dragon, and you really have to ask, how worth is it really? 51 minutes into the game.
Okay, what timer are you on? Because my game just completely froze there for like 6 seconds.
All right,
Like
we're
the
at
suit of Elder.
51, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 2 minutes. Are you with me?
Yeah, 5202, 5203, 5204.
Yeah, all right, cool, we're good.
Cool. It's just as soon as the Elder went down, the game is just like, this is just too much of a clown's fiesta. I can't handle it.
The game doesn't even know what's going on at this point, and can you blame it? It's
No,
not
I
in the
can't.
game,
I just
so-
can't.
Yeah, all right, we're approaching nonsensical times in a League of Legends game, especially in this map. You know, it feels like it's been a while since I've. Oh, hello.
Yeah, looking for it. Pops the Righteous Glory, gets the knockup to keep his verdict, but Fate's Call will just take him to
Oh,
safety.
man.
That's a whip. Wani ultimate, but they're going
top
with
lane.
charge.
Look at the top lane.
Yeah, they took one tower looking
And they've
for
been
it.
walled off. Oh, but they've got the Baron Impulse.
Baron recall, it's fine.
Oh, but they're being pincered. Darkseal.
Yeah, go commit jungle. Oh, you have no health bar rescue.
My goodness. All right, you know what? Twin Shadows build isn't that bad for dealing damage. You know what? Maybe.
Maybe it's
we're
the
the
hidden
fools.
OP.
But no, don't confuse ourselves. The IM is definitely a questionable pickup, but hey, he's happy. You know, he's still able for one shot. At least while a champion with no magic resist. And
So if they get the inhib, now they're looking for the end push. 40 seconds on rescue. Can you take the team fight anyway? But all the Forge God. It's onto Badger knockback, and Thomas is on the backside. Let's go, Goldie, just buy
Look at
time.
that
With Lollipop. So you need to step up here, my friend, to get dismounted. You have the GA still available, though.
Oh, he's dead!
Pop with the Ren. No, it's GA. Badger still goes down. This should be the win for
Oh, he's
Bulldog.
remounted!
He's gonna try to get
Oh.
away. He does remount. He gets popped down. Finally, they kill him. This is the win condition we were talking about. Fate's Call in. Gets the taunt onto 2 underneath the Nexus towers. He still survives. Synapse gets away with a lick of health. Thomas now looking for more, looking to try and go in.
know about
Seismic
that.
shove. And
Woo.
this will be the win. Finally, 54 minutes in. Bulldogs go 3-3.
what a crazy game! What an absolutely bonkers back and forth game. And I mean, if we enjoyed that, then if you guys at home didn't enjoy that, I don't know what you're doing with yourselves. But wow, what a crazy game, Bulldogs.
Longest game of the split.
Undeniably.
By far.
Undeniably, that's gotta take the cake by at least 10 minutes.
At least.
What a game for Bulldogs. I mean, it was so important going into it. We said it's such a vital game here for the standings, and I mean the game lived up to it, to say
It
the
did.
least.
It really. This is what we hoped from Viperio and Click, but we got it from Absolved. Oh.
Yeah, we got
Absolved
it from
Bulldog.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Death by Lollipops, you've got to feel so bad about that game. You start off so horribly into such an amazing mid-game performance, and then you die once, and that's it. That's the game.
But if we examine the damage charts from both teams, Ezreal had double the damage, more than double the damage of the next highest player on his team. He had 72,000 damage to the 32,000 Death by Lollipops.
You know
did
what?
insane damage.
I take that back. I feel more. I feel more sad for you now. My goodness, 72,000 damage on the chart there for Fuyu, and I mean that's got to feel bad for almost
lot.
any player. Doesn't even matter what position you're in. You deal 72,000 damage in a game, you expect to win it.
You do.
Uh,
You really do.
Yeah,
But
man.
I will ask for your MVP for this game from Bulldogs.
Am I allowed to still give it to Death by Lollipop?
No.
I mean,
You have
I
an
mean, it's-
honorary one, but not
he can have the honorary run. You know, I think everyone in chats, their heart probably goes out to Death by Lollipops, but it probably has to go with the Gould. I mean, Gould had a pretty solid performance, died almost the least. Prince of Top taking the cake in the KDA department, but Gould was able to do so much, just like being bullied so hard by Badger, but doesn't really matter if he's not dying. So Gould, I'm probably going to give that one over to him this
Yeah,
game.
I would agree. He played insanely well on the Callisto. It was such a back and forth and such a long game that you feel like as if Absolved had it and then threw it at one point or another, at least multiple times.
Yeah, I feel like you could say that for either team here today.
True,
Daz.
to be fair,
I
that's true.
feel like these guys had the game in their hands more than once. So,
Although
yeah,
I would like to give a shout out to Prince of Top, Ego Speed,
yeah, of course,
because he played out of his mind
he did.
on that Ornn with the unconventional summoner of or a keystone, I should say, of the Summonary. So yeah, he played really, really well. But KDAs matter, man.
KDA's lives matter, but excuse me, he does. Yeah, he had an amazing performance and provided great front line, and of course the free stats coming out of the items the later the game went into.
Oh yeah, that was
into that.
crucial. I think Absolved had it if they didn't have the Ornn.
Potentially, yeah. Honestly, the item stats that they were getting. I mean, you saw at the end of the game when Keva found Fuyu in the mid lane, and just the scout of the week literally took almost 1,000, perhaps even more than 1,000 HP. So
Definitely
free
worth a
stats.
VOD review from the teams.
This is a game you've VOD review.
Yeah,
this is definitely a game you've VOD review.
You VOD review this because you made so many mistakes. You could have closed out so much sooner from Bulldogs, and then when Absolved got such an advantage, then they could have closed out. So it's like Game of Thrones. It's like, no, you take the win. No, you take the win.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth VOD reviewing, at least to an extent.
To some degree, I'd say, but yeah,
I wouldn't say it's the best game to VOD review. It's not like you had one mistake here and we'll need to work on that. So I think...
Yeah, there was a few mistakes, you know, but what a crazy game. There's I can't really find any other synonyms at the moment. I'm just so dumb.
Clown Fiesta.
Clown
really,
Fiesta, circus
really
act.
applies, yeah.
There's a few, but that being said, that was our last game of the day.
It was indeed. But we will be back next week for our last day of the regular season, week 7, before we go into playoffs. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to thank Yamada for coming in for the last game there. And I'd, of course, like to thank the governor for being our streamer and casting the first 2 games with me as well. They've been barn burners, especially that last game that was so action-packed and back and forth. But we'll be back next week for more UKEL action brought to you by MSI. We'll see.
No one is coming to save you.
Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is it, the borderline to where the future leaves us behind. The fire will burn and never die. Looking through the eyes of a brand new life. And so just find me, just find me. Sparks will fly if we scream no. This is not how we're gonna go. We are the ones who will never let go. Just watch us run to where no one knows. We'll never grow. We'll never grow. Don't look back, we're here to stay. A life we knew would come one day. And this is